Good Monday to you after a beautiful weekend. Bill Michaels Show on the air. What a weekend it was. Great weather. Nice time. Had a great relaxing weekend. Got out yesterday and jumped on a motorcycle and did a lot of wind therapy. Watched the end of the Masters. And Scotty Scheffler just dominated. Won his second Masters in 3 years. And kudos to him. And kudos to us because on Thursday, before everything even got going, we picked Scotty Scheffler. So, which that's back-to-back years. We actually made the choice. Last year was John Rahm. The year before that, we didn't get it right. This year we did. So there you go. So not a bad way to go. Brewers successful weekend, successful road trip, really. 4-2 on the road trip. And you would have loved to have been able to see them get maybe that third win in Cincinnati. But nevertheless, they're back at American Family Field tonight. And they are taking on the San Diego Padres. And the Padres are coming to town after the weekend that was Luke Combs on Friday and Saturday down at American Family Field. So hopefully the field is back and intact and ready to go for tonight's contest. So that's going on. In the meantime, here come the NBA postseason and the NBA playoffs, and the Bucks are the best term I heard used over the weekend was the Bucks are hot garbage. I don't even know what to say. I know I'm going to get crucified because, well, Giannis didn't play. Okay. Tell me what makes you think that they're on a roll, man. The Pacers, against the Pacers this season, the Pacers are 3-1 against the Bucks. The Pacers get up and down the floor, and the Bucks don't. The Pacers can shoot the lights out. The Bucks don't play defense. The Pacers love to run. The Bucks love to run for 3 quarters, and then in the fourth can't. This might be the one and done. This might be the early exodus for the Milwaukee Bucks, specifically if Giannis is not able to come back and be any kind of effective. But I thought I'd see more out of that team yesterday, and that was bad. It was funny. We were out on the motorcycle yesterday, and we just went out and rode, and there was a couple of different places that we went to. We just got on it and said, wherever the road takes us, we'll go. We ended up in a couple of different places that we'd never been, and just really, really nice time. And there was actually people booing the Bucks in the bar yesterday. And I was like, wow, how far they've fallen. Just booing them. And one guy stood up and just kind of threw his hands at the TV and screamed, "That team is nothing but hot garbage." And the whole crowd applauded him. And then we were watching, the Brewers kind of handling Corbin Burns. So, but that was the experience yesterday. So not a great weekend for the Milwaukee Bucks. Losing on Friday, losing again on Sunday to close out the regular season. And now they are the 3 seed. As don't look now, here come the New York Knicks, who jumped them. I was like, wow. And the Knicks are actually playing decent basketball, so we'll see what happens. But play-ins and such start tomorrow, and now we'll just wait and see what culminates down the road. We'll talk about the disappointments this season, not just for the Bucks, but in other teams and other areas for what our predictions were at the beginning of the season, and then kind of go from there. In the meantime, end of the show today, Mike Clemens going to be here in studio today. Mike's going to join me. And so we got that stuff going on. We'll be chatting some Packers and just stuff in general, NFL draft and such. That's going to be coming up today. So there you go. That's kind of the recap. Scheffler win. Oh, you have the WNBA draft getting underway tonight. Looks like the Indiana Fever are going to take Caitlin Clark. But that's kind of like the rolling headlines. So there you go. If you want to find us, 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. If you want to find us over on Twitter or on X at Bill_Michaels, at Wisco Grant. You can find him at Wisco Grant, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whatever it happens to be, / The Bill Michaels Show on all 3, The Bill Michaels Show on all 3. Then you've got YouTube, Twitch TV, Kick TV, simply Bill Michaels Show there. On LinkedIn, it's just under Bill Michaels. You're good to go there. Email the program, thebillmichaels@gmail.com, thebillmichaels@gmail.com. Find the website, simply thebillmichaels.com. And then the app, WOZN, the Zone Madison. The Zone Madison And find us after the fact on the podcast, Spotify, Apple, iTunes, Google Podcasts as well. Grand Bills, how was the fishing on Friday?
It was great. We were up north. We stayed just outside of Hayward. My buddy has a place on a lake up there, so just sat around the fire and fished long and enjoyed. I mean, it was beautiful this weekend.
It really was
beautiful when I got back to Madison last night, and even leaving this morning. Like it certainly felt like, I don't know. I don't want to say it's switched to spring because this winter was so mild, but it definitely feels like over the last couple of days we're getting a lot warmer and a lot sunnier. And it was great to be outside and listen to the Brewer game a lot.
Yep.
You know, sitting around the fire Saturday night or carrying my little radio around with me. So awesome weekend.
It was a good Brewers weekend. The Brewers just scoring at will. Joey Wiemer getting the call up, and he is excited because his swing has been toned down, and he's gotten a lot more at bats down at AAA. So he's excited to be back. I will say, and I put this in one of the headlines: are you and I to blame? Maybe more me than anybody. But we had just talked about it on Thursday, and we were kind of discussing it a little bit on Friday, but just talked about it on Thursday. Like, Christian Yelich is off to this start. Is he back? You know, all those questions, and you're starting to get juiced. And I kept saying, unless there's an injury. If the injury happens, all bets are off. And damn if he didn't get pulled out of the game on Friday night. He has lower back discomfort. And I just shook my head. I went, there you go. The kiss of death. And immediately when he got pulled, I got a few buddies started to text me saying that you just did it. And I said, wait a minute. I did the knock on wood thing. I was saying novenas, Hail Marys, whatever it happens to be. I can't be fully responsible for the ailments of one Christian Yelich. But they said, oh, you guys were talking about it on the show. You and Grant are to blame. And I think it's more me than anybody. But I did not realize, Grant, that you and I wielded that kind of power. That's what amazes me, is the unlimited amount of power this program happens to possess that has the ability to draw people down. And we never get credit when things go well. But if we mention something and something goes bad, you and I are a dumpster fire at that point.
Well, it's a lot of responsibility for both of us. And we try to be responsible, but even sometimes, we poor Christian Yelich. I didn't think it wasn't even on my radar. You were talking about a potential injury. I'm like, I don't know, maybe. But I think his back is just something the Brewers are going to have to manage the best they can. They could have put him on the IL yesterday.
Yeah,
they moved a couple guys around, so that's promising. Hopefully,
yeah, they managed that. Not good. So Christian Yelich down right now. Hopefully he's good to go at some point this week, but I don't think they really want to put him on the IL, but we'll wait and see. I just was like, oh, God, you got to be kidding me. The minute I heard that, I thought, because it was originally he was removed from the game for an undisclosed reason. And then you get to the end of the game and you find out a little bit of back discomfort. And he had to come out. And then you find out more details over the weekend. And the phone, every couple hours, somebody text or tweet or, send me an email, oh, you guys were talking about it. You're the problem. Okay. So I guess every time we've had a no-hitter and we've also screamed, hey, it's a no-hitter. And we've blown all of that for the last 30, 40 years. So I don't know what to tell you. So I love to know that we have that kind of power. So hopefully more people praise us when things go well. That's what I look at. I'll take the bad. I don't mind that. But if I get the good with it, but if we get the bad and nothing more, then that's just blatantly unfair. It's just blatantly unfair. So anyway, 877-867-1670. I didn't want to, but I think we have to. We have to talk about this Bucs team. The expectations in the postseason. Man, I don't even know what to make of them when Giannis is back. I just don't. Because this team has lost. They're 1-4 against the Pacers. They can't keep up. Chris Middleton clearly past his prime. really a non-factor. Giannis is Giannis, and we now have seen him hit his ceiling. I think Brook Lopez's best season was last year. He still plays hard. I mean, I still love the way Brook Lopez plays. Bobby Portis has certainly raised his level. Damian Lillard is not what he was billed to be. You look at, some of the supporting cast, and everybody had a moment, but nobody had constant shine. This is not a championship team. It's not going to win a championship. They may not get out of this first round. And I'll take I'll take phone calls, thoughts. Is there? Are you? I just, when the Bucks got a couple of wins and then one against Orlando without Giannis, and people are like, okay, there you go. And it's like all season long, you kept wanting to gravitate to something. You needed something to hold on to. First, it was Dame. Then they got off to a decent start, but it didn't look right, and they need another voice. And then they made the change to from Adrian Griffin to Doc. And it was like, okay, here's a veteran voice. And I was like, they keep making moves. And I'm like, that's not a good fit. And Doc hasn't gotten them any better, even though the guys said all the right thing. And, I mean, first it was, well, Lillard's going to take a few games. Well, then it was Lillard's going to take half the season. Well, then they made the coaching change, so it's going to take longer. And now it's going to take longer. And now wait till they get to the postseason. Wait, how many more excuses do you have? How many more excuses are you going to make for just bad play? Bad play. So I don't know what's next for the Bucks. And we're not to the next chapter yet, but we're very, very close. I mean, the 2023-2024 season, it's like we're on the last page, and you're looking to see if there's another page or some other way that this is going to turn out, because you're trying to take your finger, lick it, flip the pages forward and read ahead. You say, okay, where is this team going to end up? And I think we all look at it and go, wait a minute, there's nothing on this back page. It's empty. And I think that's what it is. And then I think we can just close that side of the book and say, okay, this is done. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't have much faith at all. And that doesn't make me a non-Bucks fan, as some of you want to believe. It just makes me more of a realist, because I'm not going to sit here. I will not sit here with the way this team is played and blow sunshine up your rear end. It just won't happen. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Take your phone calls. That's coming up next. This portion of the program brought to you by our friends at Burn Pit BBQ. It was a Burn Pit kind of weekend. Oh, yes, it was. Did a little grilling out on Friday. It was great. Great. Had the thick cut pork chops, seasoned them with some Burn Pit BBQ, the rub, and then grilled them up. It was nice. And then after that, threw some of that pogie sauce on there. Oh, God, it was fantastic. Burn Pit Barbecue, veteran-owned right here in the state of Wisconsin. Right here in the state of Wisconsin. And they're one of the best veteran-owned mid-sized companies in the country. And they have you to thank for it. Go to burnpitbbq.com. It is grilling season. It's sauce season. It's dry rub season. It's hot sauce season. Go to burnpitbbq.com. That is burnpitbbq.com.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show. on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Suit up for the $800,000 Sports Car Series at Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee. April through May. Score free play, cash, one of 4 new Toyota GR86s or a new Toyota Supra. Play with your club card to earn entries. 5 times the entries on drawing days and when the Milwaukee Brewers play at home. Got what it takes, Slugger? Only at Potawatomi. For more details, visit paysbig.com/sportscar. Must be 21 and a club member to play.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
You know, they've still been really good, and when you have the ring in your back pocket, you can get away with some of the stuff of like how good are they in the perimeter defensively with some of the matchups they end up with. Every time they're having like the bad night, I'll watch the other guys off the ball defensively. I don't know what's wrong with those guys, where it's just like, well, it's not my guy. Like, I don't have to do anything. Brook Lopez closed to a guard in the corner, and he got Lopez up because Lopez is a 7-footer racing to the corner, trying to chase you off the line. And he just goes right past the baseline and dunks. And Jay Crowder was the low man on the other side. And Jay Crowder didn't even bother.
Exactly. I've been saying it for a long time. Exactly. Another perfect example. They're lazy. They're lazy. It's a lazy team. And others are noticing it. And for those that don't, I don't know what to tell you. It's a lazy, uninspired team that has no want to play the defense. None. They just don't. They just don't want to do it. And I'm not going to sit here and harp on the defense the whole time. But it's a team that doesn't play fundamental basketball. They just don't. And I think they have been conditioned to look for Giannis because Giannis is the leader, the general manager, the head coach, and this is part of the problem when you get a guy that says, I'll tell you what you're going to do, and you better do this or I'm leaving, and this is what you get. So I'm gonna lay a little bit of the blame at Giannis's feet too. He plays hard. But this is the stuff that we've been talking about. It just, there's guys that just don't play because they look for the other guys to do it. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. You want to hit us up, please feel free to go ahead and do so. It's a fact. They just don't play hard. They just don't. And by the way, that was Ryan Russillo on the Bill Simmons podcast talking about watching the Bucks and the perimeter defense. They just don't do it. And there's so many Bucks fans that get so mad at me. Like, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't watch. I'm like, I guess I do. I'm not watching with my Bucks glasses on. I'm watching with a reality. I want to see him win. I want to see him play well. I want to see him play defense to inspire the offense and to maybe create a few things that they can get into fast break situations and do things that they do well. And they just don't. And when they do, they don't do it consistently. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. If you go ahead and get a hold of us. If you're a Bucks fan, and you're thinking different, tell me what's different. Tell me what I'm missing. 877-867-1670. Or if you agree, call up and agree with me. Either way.
I love when callers call up and agree with us or agree with me. I liked that spin from Russillo because obviously Dame is disappointed in moments this year and Giannis has been banged up, Chris been banged up. But I watched the role players, the other guys like Crowder and Beasley. And I'm like, where do you guys get off thinking you don't have to rotate? Like every once in a while, if Giannis doesn't and he's in the middle of scoring 35, okay, like you can't go all out all the time. But where do the role players, where do they get off thinking they can just ignore assignments, especially at this point in the season?
I 100%. 100%. It's I don't know. Okay, two things. Would you think if you are Giannis or Dame or Middleton or Lopez, don't you think you'd get in the ass of the role players and say, what are you doing? Don't you think that there would be some sort of on-court leadership to say, get your ass over there? What are you doing? Why are you standing flat-footed? Why are you watching guys run past us? That's first and foremost. Secondly, Doc, do you see Doc doing anything? I mean, do we see like major adjustments out of Doc? I mean, even analysts have said they don't really see anything different out of Doc. I mean, he does make some defensive matchups changes, but they don't play defense, so it's really like, who cares? But I was listening this morning, and it was like, well, Doc Rivers, you know, he brought in the experience, and he's got a ring, and he's been through this and this and this, and then what he went through in the Clippers, and it's made him more resilient. And same thing when he was with the 76ers, and that means he's been through this. He understands how to, you know, fix the turmoil in the locker room. What? He's the guy that's been a part of the turmoil in locker rooms where guys have just tuned him out. So what makes you think that this is going to get better? Grant, are they a one and done? Do they win this round against the Pacers and then they move on and then they're done? Or you tell me how deep you think they'll go.
Man, I don't know. I was just looking at the odds. FanDuel has them favored. They're minus 172 to win the series. And that's with Giannis. He's doubtful for Sunday for the opening game. So it's not like there's a lot of confidence that Giannis is going to play all, or we don't know when he's coming back, and Vegas still has him favored. I think they're better than Indiana. I really do. They should beat them, but I don't know how you can say anything with confidence or certainty after the last, 2 weeks. I just don't know how you can. It would be pure faith. It would be hope, which is fine. That's part of sports, but I don't know how you look at the cold hard facts right now and predict this Bucks team to really do anything, even past the first round.
Right.
Honestly.
They're 1-4 against the Pacers. We watched them in the play-in game get annihilated. Twice this year, the Pacers just ran them to death, and they looked gassed. And the Pacers were still, they were like, young deer hopping around. Pardon the the comparison, but they were still up and down the floor, and the Bucks were dragging ass. I don't see. I think the Bucks are one and done. I think I think the Pacers are going to do them in. And what will be the biggest disappointment this year? That's the beginning of the season, the Bucks, when they traded for Damian Lillard, that was it, man. It was going to be the Bucks and the Celtics, and that was it. And they were going to battle, and those two teams were going to be in the Eastern Conference Final. And then you looked at it and thought, whoever wins that probably is going to win the championship. And then you just watched the Celtics just toy with people. And that's a good team. Bucks aren't going to beat them. I don't think the Bucks can beat the Pacers. I think the Bucks will get run again by the Heat if they face them. I think the Bucks would get run. Hell, they may beat the Knicks at this point, the way the Knicks are playing. I don't see anybody on this Bucks team rising up and going, oh, we're not going to be denied. And even Giannis isn't throwing this team on his back anymore. So I just wish I was saying something different, but it's tough to watch. Tough to watch. This one's from Mark. Mark says, I agree with you guys. I hate to say it. I've been one of those Bucks supporters all season long that have been thinking the Bucks are going to turn it on at the end of the season, and they just didn't. I understand the injury to Giannis means a great deal because he is the key cog that stirs the drink, but I just don't see any inspiration out of any of the other role-playing guys. You see guys just standing around, hands out, looking at each other. It has bothered me for the last couple of weeks. Unit, you started to point it out to me a while ago, and now I've started paying attention to it. Guys are just standing around with their hands in the air at times. They're making a lackluster effort just to say they did something and not being able to really play any kind of perimeter defense. And the fact that guys are getting around them and the opponent is able to control the offensive boards is almost disgusting in today's day and age when nobody crashes the boards offensively anymore. This team is done. By the way, he is listening to the program in North Carolina on a golf trip. Well, there you go. Thank you very much. North Carolina, usually South Carolina is where the golf trips are. Where are you playing in North Carolina? They have some good courses down there, though. I will tell you that. But enjoy the golf trip, man. Let's do this. We'll step out. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. I want to get some more thoughts on this. I really do. I want to get some more thoughts on this because there's not much more you can do because of the luxury tax, because you don't really have a ton of assets to be able to trade away. You've got an aging roster. I just don't know what else to do. I don't know what the future is going to hold for this team. So, Pete says, don't forget about Pinehurst. How could I forget about Pinehurst? Right? Man, if you're playing Pinehurst, though, kudos to you. Nice job. I'd love to play that. Love to play that. Good stuff. This portion of the program brought to you by our friends over there at Potawatomi Hotel Casino. Potawatomi Hotel Casino. They have right now going on down there just so much good stuff. And if you are a fan of going in and getting a little bit of ducats, say you will, if you're going to win one of those beautiful cars, they've got speed to give. $800,000 in speed to give. They've got all kinds of good stuff going on Thursdays as well. But say you're going to go and check. Don't forget, by the way, we're going to be down there on May 9th, Thursday, May 9th. We are the first show, the consultation show that they brought in to say, what do we need to do to put a radio station or a booth inside the sports book? You come here. That's what you do. So we're going to be down there on May 9th. And I think we're going to give away a nice little prize, too, for those that want to come down and say hello to us and get registered. But May 9th, we're going to be the inauguration, if you will, of the new sports book at Potawatomi Hotel Casino. I can't wait. Can't wait. They're going to open it up officially on May 3rd, and they're going to do the soft opening. And that's full of dignitaries and everybody. I want to be with you. I want to be with us. We're the common people. We're the people that aren't walking in with millions. We're not the corporate hoi polloi. We're just going to go down and hang out. We're going to have fun. Potawatomi Hotel Casino. We will see you down there May 9th for the Bill Michaels Show midday. So I'm really, really looking forward to it. More of the Bill Michaels Show coming up next.
Ready? This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Indiana has had our number all year, right? So perfect opponent. You know, listen, we got to play somebody, and they're tough. They've played great against us. They have probably great confidence against us. We'll have great focus because we're going to have to.
Damn straight. Damn straight. Going to have to. Welcome back to the program, the Bill Michaels Show. We continue on, and that is the words of Doc Rivers. They're going to have to. Emails coming in and a reaction coming in. Want to get your thoughts as the Bucks now venture off into the postseason. They're going to take on the Indiana Pacers beginning next Sunday down at the Fiserv Forum. So they got some time to rest, relax, try to get their legs under them a little bit. But, to walk into the postseason, to limp into the postseason in this particular fashion is not at all what the Milwaukee Bucks wanted, needed, or felt that they would be doing at this point in time. 877-867-1670. Let's go to the phone calls. Let's go to Sammy listening to us in Green Bay. Sammy, what's going on?
Hey, Bill, good morning. Thanks for taking my call. And, yes, you are calling it as it is. You don't have rose-colored glasses on. You're calling it the way it is, and that's what it should be. The Bucks look like a total team dismay. There's no continuity there. Yeah, and you're right. I think Giannis is like, he's the chief. He calls the shots. I think there's too many Bucks assistants that they don't need with this organization. I mean, these guys are getting paid $20 million a year, $5 million a year. Do you think they're going to listen to a coach who's making $1 million a year? No. And where's the heart of the lion in these players? It's missing. The play-in, the load management has taken the game and ruined it. And whether it's Lopez, whether it's Giannis, here, why did Bobby Portis look like he should be the starting superstar? I mean, he's the only guy that stepped up the last 2 weeks of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And again, yesterday, he had a double-double.
Yeah.
So it's like, guys, it's time to take some accountability. There's too many coaches coaching what? They don't watch hours of film. I mean, Doc said it. They got great confidence against us. They shouldn't have that against us.
Right.
That is the wrong thing to say as a coach. I'm sorry. We're going to get after it. We need to get after it. It looks like letting Mike go was not the right thing to do for these Bucks. But on another side note, too, I want to mention about the Green Bay Packers. This past Saturday, they had a flag girls high school skills competition at the Hudson Center.
Okay.
And it was attended by 40 teams submitted their names. They were picked out of a hat. And it just happens the girls that I've coached from Manitowoc Lincoln made the opportunity to be in that facility. And I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of football talent that if this flag football program takes off for high school, you're going to want to leave the boys football program, go watch the girls. That's what's happening in state tournament for basketball. Ava Quinchia, she took up the longest throw. The girl threw the ball straight on an arrow, 42 yards.
Wow.
And I'm like, this is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And the skills competition, it's giving women's sports, and did Caitlin Clark help? Yes. I think we needed something to push it over. And the Packers, again, Bill, I can't tell you enough how impressive that was, the way they orchestrated it. They opened up the facility free to the public, and it was phenomenal. But I want to end on this. I've been in sports for 55 years of my life, and I've been around ESPN. I've done some things for a lot of sports. And Bill, I enjoy listening to you because it's not about you. It's about the fans. It's about the listeners. That's a tough ingredient to find today. And like Stephen A. Smith, it's about him. You don't care. And Bill, you don't do that. I enjoy listening to you, and I appreciate it. And let's hope that the Bucks have their radios on and listen to Bill Michaels, because maybe he should be on the coach's bench instead of somebody.
At this point, they're probably turning me off. I'm too critical, I'm being told by some Bucks fans, man. But, Sammy, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you. And yeah, that's a cool thing. I mean, I know that the NFL, not just the Packers, but the NFL in general, they want to do more and more. The flag football has really begun to take off. And it goes back some years when the CTE thing came out and they started talking about head injuries and such and the concussions, and they started getting more and more into that. And then you saw the decline of, at least for a period of time, you saw the decline of people not playing football and parents not having their kids go out for football. And then what you saw, first of all, they had more of a delegation specifically to make sure that there weren't the significant head injuries in the game. But then you also saw other sports begin to report, well, wait a minute, we have head injuries too. Hockey, soccer has quite a few we've seen, and you saw the rise. There was just a couple of kids that were local that talked about having head injuries, and it wasn't because of football. It was soccer related. And so going out for soccer that was supposed to be safer did not turn out to be that way. It's all in how you treat it and recognize it. And then the flag football really began to start to kind of take a hold, and for both boys and girls. And it's been great. And I can only imagine, look, if you are a girl playing flag football, I don't think you could ever imagine being invited to play on any field that the Packers play on at any point in time. It was just, it's a machismo dude sport. And the NFL always will be, but your only shot at playing any kind of football was like the lingerie football league or something like that, you know? I mean, and so to get up there and to be able to play around in the Hudson Center and show your wares, that's got to be a cool dream. That's got to be a cool dream, no doubt. Sammy, thanks so much for the phone call. This one in the meantime, this is from Dave. Dave says, what the hell are you looking at? You don't know basketball. Basketball goes in waves in the NBA. You see the starters get a nice lead. Then the backups, or as you call them, the lower end roster players, which I've never said, by the way, Dave. He said the lower end roster players come in and just try to hang on to the lead until the cavalry comes back. Starters come back in and win the game. You brought in Dame for the last 5 minutes of a ball game. Even Giannis admitted it. It's not Dame time all the time. It's Dame time at the end of the game. If the game is not close or the Bucks are losing, it's not Dame time. It's like calling on a closer to win a game when you're down by 5 in the 8th inning. He's not going to have a lot of closes and saves. It's not going to happen. Understand the game. Dave, let me say this. First of all, I appreciate the fact that you took the time to write that. Okay? I do. You sat down, you listened to the program, you penned that, or you typed it out. Let me say this, though. You're wrong, and that couldn't be anything further from the truth. Dame was not brought in just to close out games. He was brought in to be a key cog. He is also supposed to pick up the scoring where Drew Holiday left off, and then some, because of the lack of defensive prowess. Okay? He is not a closer. He is just a guy that you've now got a more, assured shooting eye at the end of ball games. It's not like bringing a closer in the 8th inning. They've had leads that they have lost with Dame on the floor. If you're going to put this all on Dame, okay, which you would, I guess, are trying to do in some way, shape, or form, to say he's not at fault because he's only the closer. What the hell kind of understanding am I supposed to have about the game of basketball that is so out of tune with the depth of thinking that you have? That's not the way the game is played. Dame is not brought. Otherwise, why put him on the floor at all until the last 5 minutes? Right? That doesn't make any sense at all. I'm sorry. We will agree to disagree, but no, not happening. Not going there. Dave, appreciate the email though. I can go right along with you that you sat down and wrote that, and I appreciate you listening, but no, you sound like just an angry, pissed off Bucks fan that I'm looking at it from my more reality laced glasses. I guess that might be the best way to put it. Hey, one thing we do have to say before I say anything else, congratulations to the Milwaukee Admirals. I did not mention them in the beginning of the show, but they won the Central Division. So they're getting ready for their postseason. Kudos to them. Kudos to them. And the Admirals, we've been talking about them for a while now. It's great to see them playing good hockey. I can't wait for the postseason to get underway. We got to get Aaron Sims back on. And hopefully, you can maybe you'll make your way down there at some point. If you have from anywhere in the state of Wisconsin, you want to go see really fun, exciting, hard-nosed, no, defensive hockey with good scoring. There you go. That's the Milwaukee Admirals. Excited about them. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. If you want to find us, please feel free. Go ahead and do so again, 877-867-1670. Let's do this. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break. We're going to come back. We got a lot more to get to. Hey, big weekend coming up, and a great weekend. They opened the patio up at Boondocks Barbecue Burgers and Brews. We talked about that on Friday, but rode out there through Lake Country. Doing the ride yesterday. We rode all over the place, but God, Boondocks is just so nice. Our friends over at Social House just bought the Panga Bar on Upper Bobbin Lake, so we drove past there, drove past Boondocks, just put about 120 miles on the bike yesterday. It was just a glorious day. But Boondocks, they have something new every week on the menu. They always have great stuff going on the weekends. There's always sports on the TVs. You can sit outside now, and the old bar, the old-fashioned wood-carved bar, that was the original bar in the bar. They took that out very carefully. They built this great big new expansive bar when they opened, and then they took that customized bar and they set it outside on the patio, put some TVs above it, and it's like the inside of the bar has now come outside. It's so great on that patio. Boondocks Barbecue Burgers and Brews, County Road, Kano, Oconomowoc, and do not forget, they have a food truck and they cater. So if you're looking for somebody to do your next event in the Lake Country area, that's Boondocks Barbecue Burgers and Brew. Go to boondocksbbqs.com, boondocksbbqs.com. More of the Bill Michaels Show coming up right after this.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Beautify your entertainment space with Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Hi, this is Gina Della from Pella. Turn your ordinary space into something extraordinary with brand new Pella windows. The luxurious look, sleek design, and custom colors available is guaranteed to give your home the extra pop to entertain and keep you comfortable. At Pella, we see windows differently. We have the highest rated energy efficient products and a complete range of durable, functional, and high quality products that bring out the best of your home. Plus, getting the perfect windows and doors for your home has never been easier. Right now, get 0% interest for up to 36 months or no down payment, no interest, and no payments for up to 18 months if you book before April 30th. That's right, get 0% interest for up to 36 months or no down payment, no interest, and no payments for up to 18 months. If you book before April 30th, take ownership of your living space and make it a place worth living with Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
With or without Giannis, Indiana's winning this series. They're going to beat Milwaukee. That's number one. Number two, when that happens, in my opinion, when that happens, I think the Milwaukee Bucks should take a strong, hard look on using the asset that is Damian Lillard and moving him from Milwaukee to someplace else.
The words of Stephen A. Smith. Bucks, get rid of Dame. Get rid of Dame. Didn't work. I don't know. And David, you bring up a great question. And David says, let's take an honest look at Damian Lillard and why it didn't work here or hasn't worked so far, he says. Do you think it's just the fact that Drew Holiday was the glue that kind of kept this team together? Do you think Giannis's ego is too big? Do you think it's just an aging roster? Why do you think the Damian Lillard experience didn't work? Okay. I'm gonna give you insight here because some of this stuff is off the court, some of it's on the court. And I don't usually get into off the court stuff. Okay. Damian Lillard was traded here. There was a lot of excitement. I know I happen to have friends that live where he lived at the time. I think since he's moved. But he arrived, we shall say, with a group of people that are friends and such. There was some parties. There was some fun. Obviously, he was going through the divorce. We don't know who was with who, but it was friends of mixed company, we'll say. And it was pretty well known in the building who was there, who was living there. And the parties early on were, they weren't rowdy or anything. I'm not saying that. It's just he had a lot of fun and a lot of bravado when he moved into town. And then the story was, well, it's going to take him time. Whose team is it? Is it Damian Lillard's team or is it Giannis's team? Because we all know it's Giannis's team. And then the story came out that, it's tough. Away from the court, is missing his wife, missing his kids. The divorce had been hard. And I understand all of that. Okay? Understand all of that. And I don't know after that what all happened until you read the article where Giannis says, down the stretch, it's Dame's team. Okay? And remember when LeBron had talked about that when he was playing, down in Miami at the time, that LeBron said, we got so many scorers, it's not my team, it's their team. And he got widely criticized for that. It's like, you're the best player on the planet. Why are you not taking the ball? Why are you not putting it up? Why are you not being Michael Jordan? Well, we know Giannis is not Michael Jordan. So Giannis is a lovable figure. Okay. He hasn't done anything wrong. He's not a bombastic ego. He's not let's put it what it is. LeBron rubs people the wrong way because of his self-indulged bravado, right? There are things that he does that are extremely well, and there are things that he does that just rub people the wrong way. Giannis really doesn't. He's a likable figure. He's a likable guy. He plays his ass off. We all know that. We know his work ethic. You know, he was the guy that when he got here, that if something was wrong or he just didn't play well, he was walking across the street and going over to the practice facility, and he was working until midnight. He was the guy they had to kick out of the gym, that type of thing, right? He was the guy that was going to Chick-fil-A and showing up at Culver's and doing diapers. And, you know, he's the fun guy. He's like your big brother you're rooting for, right? That's Giannis. And then he led him to a championship. So you get a lot of street cred in this state when you win a championship. So you ask, well, is it Giannis's team or is it Dame's team? And Giannis still wants to bring the ball down the court. Giannis still wants to pump up threes at times. Damian Lillard, I don't know if he knows what his role really is. And it didn't get defined with Adrian Griffin. So that mix, that figuring everybody out, you're figuring out a new coach, you're figuring out new teammates, you're figuring out the loss of another teammate. All of that is going on, right? So we gave it a pass for a while. And then it kind of continued. And then Doc comes in and you see it kind of founder for a little while. And then think about that. They went on that win streak. And had they not been for that win streak, this record would be terrible out of this team. But they started getting it going and they looked pretty good doing it. So you thought, okay, here we go, right? We'll talk about it coming up in the next hour, what has gone wrong. Because I don't think you can just lay it at the feet of Damian Lillard. I think you have to squarely look. There's one thing you have to do. I'll tell you who has to do it and what has to be done when we come back. Because the great ones do it. And the mediocre ones, they drown because they don't know how to handle it. I'll tell you exactly what it is I'm talking about when we come back, in case you don't know. Otherwise, I bet you, the majority of you, I bet you've already figured it out, right? Stay tuned. We got more of the Bill Michaels Show. It's coming up right after this. Don't go anywhere.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, the Milwaukee Bucks would close out the regular season, losing to the Orlando Magic 113-88. With that loss and the New York Knicks beating the Chicago Bulls in overtime, it meant the Knicks would be the number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference, and the Bucks would fall to the 3 seed. They'll now face a familiar foe in the first round. That would be Indiana after the Pacers earned the number 6 seed. Here's more from head coach Doc Rivers on their first round playoff matchup.
Indiana has had our number all year, right? So, perfect opponent. You know, listen, we got to play somebody, and they're tough. They've played great against us. They have probably great confidence against us. We'll have great focus because we're going to have to.
Game 1 between the Bucks and Pacers will be Sunday, April 21st. To the majors, yesterday the Milwaukee Brewers couldn't finish off the sweep of the Baltimore Orioles. They would fall 6-4. Yesterday would see Orioles pitcher Corbin Burns go against his former team, allowing 2 earned runs in 5 innings of work. The crew would put up 11 runs both Friday and Saturday, but yesterday would see them go 2 for 17 with runners in scoring position. Milwaukee now comes back home to American Family Field. We'll take on the Padres tonight.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
When a company only does business in Wisconsin, that's Wisconsin Strong. Rural Mutual provides all lines of insurance, including commercial, farm, home, and auto. And your premiums stay right here to keep Wisconsin strong. Local agents, local underwriters, local claims adjusters.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
Wisconsin quarterback, redshirt sophomore Nick Evers announced over the weekend he is entering the transfer portal, and we are just 11 days away from the NFL's draft in Detroit next Thursday. For the Wisconsin Sports Zone Network, I'm Ebo.
Good Monday to you. Yeah. Good Monday to you. The Bill Michaels Show on this beautiful day. Excited about it. Excited about it. Brewers with a nice road trip coming back home after 4-2 on the road. Against Cincinnati, they pick up a couple. Against Baltimore, they pick up a couple. And you know what? Again, do you take a moral victory out of what happened yesterday? Pitching wasn't great. We all understand that. But they got the Corbin Burns. Corbin Burns had been dominant until he faced Milwaukee. I'll take that in a heartbeat. Take that in a heartbeat. So, yeah, I'm excited about this team. I'm looking forward to them coming back home. Padres in town tonight, getting things underway. Excuse me, down at American Family Field. The Bucks, on the other hand, yeah, that's not a great situation. The Bucks, on the other hand, the Pacers coming up on Sunday at the Fiserv Forum. The town's going to be excited. It's a postseason. It's new birth, right? So there's going to be this level of optimism going in. Anything can happen, right? I think so. I think we can all agree on that. Anything can happen. So I'm excited. I'm anticipating a raucous crowd, especially if you get game one. If you win game one, it gives you like the belief that you can do this, especially after a season in which you go 1-4 against the Pacers. And I think we all understand that this has not been a great season. So before we went into the top of the hour, I said there's one thing that needed to happen when you talk about why did the Damian Lillard experience, to this point anyway, not work. Now, maybe year two, maybe a full offseason. Look, maybe Damian Lillard needs this. Maybe he needs a summer in Wisconsin. Get indoctrinated to the people. Go to Summerfest. Go to Bastille Days. Go to State Fair. You know, enjoy yourself. Understand what the community is, right? Understand that there is a level of quality to the people in this state that give a damn about this team. Understand that you can be embraced. You can be accepted. You can bring your kids here. There's no better place in this world to bring your kids this time of year as summer starts to become upon us, right? Get out and enjoy everything. Now, granted, it's not sitting on the beach in Bahamas, but get out and enjoy everything. Like I said, there's different fairs. There's not that he's going to be taken off to the county fairs, but there's so much to do. And then if you're a golfer, if you just want to enjoy yourself, relax a little bit, walk around town, hit the third ward, take a trip, go to some of the smaller cities in the state outside of Milwaukee, go up to Green Bay, walk around training camps, see what the Hall of Fame is like, see what championship trophies look like, head out to Wisconsin, check out Mendota, go out there and just kind of sit, watch the sunset, right? Go to Chippewa Falls and walk the old Abe Trail and see the beauty up there, and go to Leinenkugel's for God's sakes, and go hang out there. Go up to Stevens Point. Go see our friends at Point Brewing. Go be appreciated. Just there's so much to offer. So anyway, getting back to why did the Dame experience this year not work? I think you can look squarely at one, if not two figures here. For every team that has superstars, there is a level of accountability that is held to the superstars by the head coach, right? I know that Doc Rivers has won a championship, and I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think they won almost in spite of. You had guys on that team led by Kevin Garnett that they were not going to be denied. That was Kevin Garnett came there to do just that. He had not won a championship with Minnesota at that point. He'd not really sniffed it too often. And then when he got to Boston, all the chips started to fall into place. And that was their last hurrah. And they knew it. They were determined. So all you had to do as a head coach there is just don't get in the way. Don't F it up. Right? Here, what you needed to do was stir the drink. Stir the drink so all the cubes are going around in the right direction. You know, you give yourself a little shot of something, and then you pour in a little bit of soda or Sprite or whatever it happens to be, and you got your cubes in there, and then you've got that straw, and you've just got to stir that drink, right? Stir that drink. Get them all going in the same direction, right? Just mix it up until it's just that perfect color, that perfect taste, that perfect flavor. Just mix it up. That's it. That's all you got to do. Sometimes coaches don't have that ability. They cannot get the ego of this player, the mentality. Say this guy's a really outspoken, in your face, flex you up kind of guy. And this guy who is a superstar as well is a very casual, very laid back, easygoing kind of guy. And then you've got some role players who are the same, and some of them who think they're better than maybe what they are. You know, they don't understand their role, right? Then you've got another superstar who's aging, who's on the downside. You're just trying to nurse this SOB to even be on the damn floor. Just doing anything you can to get this guy to where he can play to whatever his potential still may be as an aging veteran who it was a boat anchor. And you're just trying to stir that drink. You're just trying to stir that drink. And really good head coaches have the ability to stir the drink. Phil Jackson, Popovich, Spoelstra, Riley, going back to the years that he was managing the Showtime Lakers. You know, you go back over the years and you look at teams that had superstars and you're like, that head coach could have won with anybody would have won. To a certain extent, you're probably right. They would have won a lot of games, but do they win championships? Do they win championships? And I don't think so. There's an art to this. I go back now, hindsight being what it is, I would have either hired Nick Nurse or Terry Stotts as the head coach. Terry had less and got more out of those Portland teams. Nick Nurse, very good tacticianer. Very good tacticianer. Seems to have a handle on things. But they went with Adrian Griffin. Young, players coach. Because remember, Bud wanted to do things a certain way, and the guys were bucking at that. That message is falling old. So let's get a guy in here who wants to be, he was a former player, he wants to be tough, but he's also the player's coach. And you find out that he's Ray Rhodes. He works really hard. Nobody's going to question his work ethic. Nobody's going to question his knowledge of the game. But getting from point A to point B wasn't working. Even though the record was good, it wasn't working. So they bring in a guy that's got experience, that's been through the grinders, won a championship, but also understands the egos, the problems, the drama. He's been given some of the worst head cases in all the game, and he was supposed to make something out of them. What you failed to look at is he fell short and also ultimately got booted out of both. But he was the best of a lot of options. So now you go, well, what are you going to do, right? You're paying Bud, you're paying Adrian Griffin, you're paying Doc. I mean, what are you going to do? But to me, I look at this as I'm not going to blame John Horst. The only thing I can say is the choice for Adrian Griffin was wrong. But other than that, I think he's done everything he can to try to keep this whole thing from blowing up.
I know there's 2.5 hours left in the show, so it's early, but my favorite take of the day so far, and I think when the show's done, it'll be my favorite take, is that Damian Lillard needs to drive around the state and see the sights. Like, Damian Lillard does need to go to the Liney's Lodge in Chippewa Falls.
He needs.
I love this take.
I'm giving you this only in the sense of it was Milwaukee is looked at, and the reason I bring it up, go back to the stuff that Stephen A. Smith had said. And this is, and I hate to say this, but there's a perception about Milwaukee, about it's not a great place to go to. It's cold, it's stark, it's snow, it's awful. Not that it's that different a climate as, say, New York, Toronto. You can start to go Chicago, it's not that. It is this bastardized child of a city that nobody wants to play in. And what I'm saying is when Dame gets here, he chose to come here to win a championship. Great facilities, Fiserv's awesome, playing with Giannis. But it's not, the insinuation in the article going back to that was when he came here, he wasn't going to bring his kids, and his ex-wife was against it. And, this is not that city. And so you're already embedded in the thought of saying, this isn't the place. I'm going to win here, but this is not a place that I want to be. And if you don't think about it, Grant, if you don't want to be somewhere, how much drudgery is it to wake up every day and go to work?
Yeah.
We've all been there. We've all been there. And that's my point is, if this guy doesn't believe in this area and the indoctrination into this city and the support that he could feel and this and that, then he doesn't want to be here. And he's never said that publicly, but you can tell by just body language and discussion. There's people that love it and there's people that don't. And then when they get here, they're like, I'm getting the money, I'm getting paid, I'm getting, this and that. But I've seen it with baseball players who live here in the summertime, but you don't get a chance to really enjoy it except for maybe an off day or two. And I've seen it with NBA players. They're talented. They're talented guys. They just don't like it here. They don't like going home. They don't like the city vibe. They don't like the people. They don't like the traffic. They don't like the restaurants. For whatever reason, they don't like it. And it makes you very unwilling mentally to fully buy into what's going on around you. That's why I said there's a lot of great things here. If you just go and discover it and you feel more at home and comfortable, because he got traded and all of a sudden the season was almost upon us. And that's why I bring up what I know where he lived and the parties and the people that were hanging with him and stuff. I bring it up because he brought a lot of people with him. And then when those people left, it was a different Dame. Only knowing what I know behind the scenes. And I'm not saying he doesn't like it here. I'm just saying I don't know if the guy feels even comfortable here.
Two things
Yeah.
quickly. Number one, you're right that when you don't love your job or who you work with, then getting up in the morning is difficult. And I want the record to show that I exploded out of bed at 6:15 this morning, thrilled and excited to come to work. I want that on the record. I didn't even need an alarm. But in all seriousness, Dame, when you request a trade and you leave it up to your team, you said, I want to go play somewhere else. I would like to leave. You might end up in a place you didn't expect. Or in a city you weren't anticipating. So that's the risk you run when you accept a trade with years left on your contract. So I'm bummed for him with all entire life across the country, but you requested a trade.
Yeah.
You opened that can of worms. So again, sympathy, yes, but at some point, man, that's how the world works.
And what I said, to me, it sounds ridiculous, but I've been down this road with players that don't want to be here. That they're God, how do I put this? They're playing for a paycheck and hoping they win. They're not invested. And one of the worst things you can have as an employee, it doesn't matter what you're doing, whether it's a ball player or a company, is if you have people that are just showing up for a paycheck, your company is destined for failure because you're only as good as your weakest link in damn near everything in life. And if you don't have people that are fully invested, that give a damn about the program in the sense of you're walking around your office, you're picking up a piece of paper just because you don't want the place to look bad. Just people like that. If you don't have people that are invested in your team, in your circumstance, in your one for all for one mentality, then you're not going to win. You're not going to have it. Look, perfect example. Look at a guy, Kevin Durant, under a ton of scrutiny this year. The Phoenix Suns were a favorite to win the West. Healthy Durant, they made the trade. Everybody's comfortable. Here we go. Out there in Suns Nation, man. I just read so much about it when we were out in Arizona. Here we go. They didn't win it last year, but damn, a full off season, everybody together. Here we go. Kevin Durant has been a Finals MVP. And he was a Finals MVP when he got paired up with 3-4 other superstars in Golden State. He's never been that guy that's just lifted a team up and said, I'm going to take you to a championship. Yeah, we can talk about the toe on the line and all that kind of stuff with Brooklyn, but he's the bottom line is he's still not a guy that has been able to elevate a team and win a championship. Is he a great player? Yes. Is Damian Lillard a great player? Yes. But is he going to help you elevate your team? Is he bought in? No, he's a hired gun. He's a mercenary. He's a guy walking around trying to make a paycheck, trying to say, I want to go from team to team to team until I find a championship so I can say I got a ring. But are you invested? And I don't think he is. That's my opinion. And like I said, you're Doc Rivers, and you're trying to get a guy to elevate. You're trying to get Giannis to indoctrinate. You're trying to get Chris Middleton to recuperate. You just got all this stuff going on, and you're the straw. You're the guy that's supposed to stir this whole thing. Giannis is supposed to be able to wrap his arms around this organization and lift them up, man. And he's proven right now, he's like, there's something missing. If you don't have all your stars on the same page, or you're constantly grabbing at one guy. When Giannis gave him the vote of confidence, it's your team down the stretch. I'm all for you, man. You and me, let's do this. And Damian Lillard really flatlined. It's just there. Just there. Stay tuned. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. I'll get back to the phones when we come back because we got some people on hold. Stay right where you're at. I promise I'll get to you. Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Show coming up next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. Good to have you. The Bill Michaels Show. How we looking? I'll tell you how we're looking. Sobelman's Pub and Grill. If you're going to be heading out today, maybe going to the game, you're going to maybe stop off. Sobelman's in Milwaukee, right there on St. Paul Avenue. Good place. Get yourself Bloody Mary, maybe burger or something before you head over to American Family Field. Or maybe you're going to watch the game. Head to downtown Waukesha. Just outside of downtown Waukesha, right there on William Street. Right across the street from La Estacion, right down the street from Taco John's. That is where you can find Sobelman's Pub and Grill as well. They have two locations. And the same great Bloody Mary, same great food, same big burgers. You got it right there. Sobelman's Pub and Grill.
Meet at Sobelman's. Milwaukee and Waukesha.
How we looking? Good stuff. All right. So, Grant, there are more than a few people that have agreed with you. It's a ridiculous take to say Dame needs to head across the state of Wisconsin.
I like it.
People kind of lose the meaning of what it is I'm saying. I'm not saying that suddenly he's going to become some kind of a Wisconsinite by eating cheese and brats and going finding beers and all that kind of stuff. What I'm saying is, if you don't like it here, or you feel like you don't belong here or don't fit in, you're never going to fully indoctrinate yourself into what it is you're doing, even if you do say. Now, competitiveness, yeah, absolutely. You're going to wake up every day and you're going to go play, and the minute you put a ball in your hand and a defender in your face, you're going to do your best to be your best. But we all know there's a mentality to it, something that is an intangible for players that don't want to be there. And we've seen it time and again. We've seen players that have come and gone, and they come in, they play here, they leave here. There's not a lot of great things to say about it, but then you always ask, well, did you actually take the time to enjoy it a little bit? No, not really. Did you ever do this? Did you ever do that? Did you ever get out and see anything? Let me take, for example, okay? Take a guy like Brandon Woodruff. Unbelievable pitcher, obviously has a shoulder issue, and you hope that he's able to come back. But he really wanted to be here. I can tell you for a fact he loves this city. You know why? Because he's come in a couple of times, just walking around the state fair with his family, sat at the Goose Island Ale House, had a beverage, and told me so. Not Damian Lillard, Drew Holiday, same thing. Lived here, wife here, loves it here, loves the people. Walked around Summerfest, walked around State Fair, been to a Packers game, loves it. Hated to leave. Didn't want to leave. Gave you everything he had here. If you had to make the move right now, I would say, would you take Damian Lillard or would you take Drew Holiday? Right now, from what you've seen, one of the two, who would you take? I think right now, what we've seen, the experiment's gone wrong, we'd all take Drew Holiday. Loved it here. So my point is you've got to love what it is you do and where you're at, and you get more out of those people. Doesn't mean Damian Lillard's not a good player, but I think, perfectly honest, I think he would have had a hell of a season in Miami. He probably would have loved Miami. But he came here because he thought he'd walk in, throw the basketballs on the court, and win a championship. And it just hasn't panned out that way. Now, granted, he's had the roadblocks thrown in front of him that were Adrian Griffin and Doc Rivers, but I just there's a we all know if you hate your job or maybe hate the atmosphere, you love your job, but you hate the atmosphere or the company you work for, you don't give a damn. After a while, you're like, Now let's see. Maybe he turns it on. Steven says he came here because he had no choice. No, he did have a choice. Yes, he did have a choice. Yes, he did have a choice because he could have gone and signed with Miami. Yes, he did have a choice because Miami thought he was coming until the Bucs stole him at the last minute. Jim says Dame is on another planet versus a Wisconsinite. That's my point. I've seen Brooke Lopez out and about, enjoying himself, having fun. Seen him. Bobby Portis, come on, man. The people's champion, come on. He's everywhere. Loves it here. PJ Tucker loved it here. Was pissed that the Bucs said, go find your best deal and let us know. That pissed him off, but he loved it here. Wanted to stay.
You get out what you put in so many different areas of life, right? I'm not saying that Dame needs to join the Chamber of Commerce in Milwaukee, but I think there's a lot of truth to what you're saying. And the city wants to embrace him, Bill. Like, we want him to be this hero that we can get behind, the guy who brought the Bucs back to a second title.
Yes.
Right after they came up short a couple times. Like,
yes.
It's not like the city is skeptical of him. We're looking for every reason for this to work and to get excited.
That's exactly my point. It's exactly my point. Right now, he is the guy that they chose over Drew Holiday, and it didn't work. When he first got here, the ovation on a night in and night out basis was amazing. And then as time went on, I was like, oh, okay, yay. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. And Daneson said, if you're looking into this maybe too much, he's family first guy, went through a divorce before the season, doesn't see his immediate family every day, every hour like he did in Portland. Were you listening to what I said earlier? He had people around him. He brought people in. They had groups here. I know where he lives. I know people that live in his building. I know people that have talked about the comings and goings. Yeah, come on. And that's what I said. Hey, if you get the kids in the summertime when you're not playing ball, bring them here. Bring them here. Let them enjoy something. Have fun in the city. It's my point. Duh. 877-867-1670. Hit me up. 877-867-1670. By the way, bottom of the next hour, we're going to talk with Aaron Sims, the play-by-play guy for our own Milwaukee Admirals, who have clinched the Central, and they are heading to the postseason. I am so excited for them. Let's go to Mark. By the way, he's coming up right here at the bottom of the hour, I should say. Jim Ozarski is going to join us at the bottom of the next hour. Let's go to Mark the Mailman. Mark the Mailman, what's going on, man? What's happening out there?
Oh, not much. Beautiful day. Great day to deliver mail. You know, you got to take these days since you look ahead of the week. We might have some rain. But with that said, you know, there's a lot to be said. You got to, if you don't love your job or where you work, you're just not going to bring, you know, your A game. I don't have a ton of original conjecture that hasn't been already said, but I would like to add that what's making this season tough to watch, not only, you know, it's kind of feels like it's going down in a flaming ball of, you know, a flaming fireball. What's going to be, what are we going to be looking, what kind of team are we going to be looking at next season? You know, we're going to, we don't have, our draft capital has been all traded away. We have a lot of aging veterans, and a lot of money is going to be come up due. On top of that, it's in my opinion that we're going to have to rework the bench. And as much as I love Thanasis on the team, I think he really doesn't add anything. And other than just you know, great. I mean, he's a great cheerleader on the side, and I know he does a lot, I'm sure, for Giannis, but he's taken up a seat at this point. And that's just my opinion. I'd like to hear what if you could add anything.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
No,
you have a great take.
Appreciate the phone call. On the court, Thanasis brings what Thanasis brings. It's not great. It's not anything to write home about. You don't know what he brings off the court, which is the reason he's there. What he brings is a comfortable voice for Giannis. I don't know how else to put it. Right or wrong. I can you put better players via bench depth, right or wrong? I don't know. But he is, put it this way, he is here because of Giannis. And he knows it. He is here to be Giannis's confidant, to be Giannis's brother, to be his voice, to be a sounding board, to be another friend. Might be the best way to put it. So what he adds on the court, I don't know how much that weighs into what he adds off the court, which there can be something that's said for that. I agree with you. He's taking up a roster spot. And I don't know what else is out there that could be better than what he brings to the table, but you know why he's here, right? And there's a reason. Because if it didn't sit well with Giannis, he wouldn't be here. Or if it didn't matter to Giannis, he wouldn't be here. It's the best way to put it. We're going to talk with Aaron Sims of the Milwaukee Admirals coming up next. Got to talk a little Admirals. Got to talk some hockey, right? Getting into the postseason. They've clinched the Central. Hell yeah. Admirals, kudos, man. Kudos to those Admirals. This portion of the program brought to you by our friends at Cousins Subs, where they believe in better. Got the pull tab game going on right now. Shakes, fries. Come on. The Bill Michaels, the pepperoni melt, extra mayo, extra cheese, good to go right there. And kudos to them. They are a big supporter of Fisher House, Wisconsin, just like we are. They're a big supporter of our motorcycle ride coming up on Sunday, September 1st. A big supporter of our announcement that we believe is coming on May 1st. So tentatively, circle your calendar. You're going to want to be listening to the program that day. Okay? Our announcement, which we're just crossing the T's and dotting the I's, baby. But we can't do it without great corporate sponsors like our friends at Cousins Subs. They believe in better. You believe in better. So thanks to Cousins Subs for being a part of it. More of the Bill Michaels Show coming up next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network. Suit up for the $800,000 Sports Car Series at Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee. April through May, score free play, cash, one of 4 new Toyota GR86s or a new Toyota Supra. Play with your club card to earn entries, 5 times the entries on drawing days, and when the Milwaukee Brewers play at home. Got what it takes, slugger?
to have you back. The Bill Michaels Show. Rock it on. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. If you want to find us, you can do so. We'll get back into some Bucks chatter and Brewers chatter and such coming up. Brewers with a nice road trip going 4-2, both in Cincinnati and Baltimore, back at home tonight down at American Family Field, taking on the San Diego Padres. Bucks limping into the postseason. One team that is not, and we've been paying attention to them all season long, and that is the Milwaukee Admirals, joining us now on the hotline. The guy that is the voice of the Milwaukee Admirals, none other than Aaron Sims. Aaron, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Hey, Bill, it's a great day. Thanks for having me.
Good to have you, man. I mean, it's exciting to watch. I mean, back in the postseason, and this team has played really good hockey all season long, whether it's the goaltending, the win streak, the ability to score at will almost at times. Do they have a flaw at all right now heading into the postseason?
Yeah, you know what the flaw is some injury issues, and they're starting to get a little healthy, but the injuries have caused a bit of a hiccup here as the season has gone on, and guys are trying to get used to one another again and get back in the flow. But the last handful of games, it seems like things have straightened out. They did very well this weekend, taking 4 out of 6 points, and hopefully it bodes well heading into the postseason, where they'll face either Texas or Manitoba, just like last year.
So who do they have the edge against if it's Texas or Manitoba?
I don't know that it necessarily matters. They've played well against both teams. I'm not saying that either team neither team is good. They're very good. Texas is down from what they were last season. They lost a lot of defensemen, and who I think is the league's most valuable player and rookie of the year is a young man named Logan Stankoven, who was recalled by Dallas, and he was leading the league in scoring and goals. He was just this magnificent young player for Texas. He got recalled by Dallas, and he's done the same thing in the NHL. So they will not have him back for the playoffs for the foreseeable future. That hurts them greatly. Manitoba, it kind of scores by committee. No real stars. They have found a young goaltender. But again, the Admirals should have the edge on paper against both of those clubs here heading into the postseason.
Well, I know that you started moving guys around when you start towards the head to the end of the NHL season. You start to lose guys. Guys will go up. Guys will come down. Right. It can mix up chemistry. How has that affected this team this year?
I think, what was funny is you get that 19-game winning streak, and that happened during kind of between Christmas and the All-Star break in the American Hockey League, which is the first week of February. So basically the first month of January, or the month of January, and then maybe the first week or so of February, you have kind of the dog days. You have the dog days of summer for baseball in August, roughly. It's kind of that for hockey. And because the Admirals were winning and they had a trip to Las Vegas and they had all of these things going, like everything got pushed off. The health was there. Everything was going fine. And then some injuries started to come in and things like that. So the Blas got pushed back a little bit into March, which is untraditional. So the Admirals did get a little of that. They had Spencer Stastny recalled. Mark Jankowski was the leading scorer for the team. He was recalled, and both of them have done extremely well in Nashville. I don't think either of them will be back in Milwaukee, which is too bad for Milwaukee, but it's great for them. And they're contributing big time for the Predators, who have been on an unbelievable streak since middle of January too. So they're in a good spot. The chemistry, the Admirals have added some players. Wade Allison is a player from the Flyers organization. Ozzy Weisblatt is a first-round pick out of San Jose. They've added some players. They've seemed to mesh well. Young defenders. This is the time of year a lot of college players come pro. You've got players from Canadian juniors, maybe players from Europe. The Admirals don't have a European yet, but these players come in and add to the mix and see where they can fit in. So it is a time where it could get jumbled up. But the Admirals, again, they've been a team that's been stable all season long. So that stability, these new players they'll get accustomed to it pretty quickly. The chemistry should not be a big issue.
When you look at they're third best in points, third best in record. Hershey Bears obviously lead everybody. How good is the Hershey Bears?
They've been unbelievable, and you know what's tough is they have been unbelievable, and they have an outstanding coach who, I mean, for years the guy's won a couple of championships, and Todd Nelson is his name. He only got an interim stint with the Edmonton Oilers about 10 years ago. I don't understand why he has not been a full-time NHL head coach as of yet. But the weird thing about the American Hockey League is it's like the old American League and National League before interleague play started. Like I have no idea what's going on in Hershey. So I can read the stats. I can see that they're winning games. I can see all of this, but they've allowed very few goals, but they play a lot of the same teams over and over again. And again, this is not to take away from them, and they won the championship last season in much the similar format when it comes to the schedule. But that's the tough thing. Like I have to vote. I'm one of the voters. Every market in the American Hockey League, a media member votes for the All-Star teams, the postseason awards, and MVP and things like that. And I don't see half of the teams, and that's the tough thing about this league is you really don't get to know anybody out there. So I could tell you Jimmy Huntington, a former Admiral, is out there, but I can't tell you too much more other than their record is unbelievable. They're closing in on an 800 winning percentage, which is unheard of in any sport.
I will take a lot of pride in the fact that Chicago did not have the season that they had hoped for. And I have to admit, 23-33 on the season. And I'm completely ecstatic about that. However, what I'm happy about is Rockford made it. And the reason I am is because that's a hell of a rivalry. At times, it's like the old adage is, there was a fight going on and a hockey game broke out. I love that Rockford's there. Hopefully they meet them in the postseason. I'd love to see that.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. That series, they're going to play Grand Rapids in the first round, and both of those teams are playing outstanding hockey right now. And Rockford is going to be loaded up. Like they have all of these players that had some good time in Chicago, but they're still young. And Rockford, it's like the Brewers when they brought up Hardy and Fielder and those guys. Like they want them to win together so they can go up to Chicago together and win, hopefully for the Blackhawks. So this Rockford team is real interesting. The Admirals and Rockford have played 11 games against one another this season. 5, I believe, have gone into overtime or a shootout. Rockford has won 6. The Admirals have won 5. They play again to close out the Admirals' home schedule on Saturday night at Panther Arena at 6 p.m. It's going to be interesting. And Grand Rapids too. Like Grand Rapids has been fantastic this year in the last half of the season. So the top 3 teams in the Central Division for a long time, the Central Division this year, up until Christmas or so, it wasn't that great. It was a lot of teams struggling to figure out what they were. And then after that, the top 3 have really, really separated themselves from everybody else.
So when can we expect the big parties and get ready for everything that's going to be, kind of taking place down at the UW Panther Arena?
Well, the playoffs will start the first round. So what happens is there's kind of a play-in series between the 4th and 5th teams, Texas and Manitoba. That will get going sometime next week, the week of April 22nd. That's a best-of-3 series. All of the games will be in one location, and then the next round will start. The Admirals will start on the road beginning of May. The schedule just came out here, and I'm trying to find exactly the dates because they were just handed to me. But I believe it's the Wednesday, Friday, Sunday of May. So it's like the 6th, 8th, and 10th or something like that. I'm trying to find the calendar here real quick. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
So the 8th, 10th, and the 12th, excuse me. So 8th, 10th, and 12th would be the games at Panther Arena. It would be games 3 and, if necessary, 4 and 5 in the first round, and then after that, we wait and see what happens in the next round against the winner. Hopefully, the Admirals will face the winner of the Grand Rapids Rockford series.
It only means that we have you back on the program. That's what that means. So
I'm looking forward to
if you don't know now, I mean, come on, yeah.
It's Bill. It's the best time of the year, man. Like I know a lot of people, and there's no football, but you've got the draft coming up.
Yeah.
You've got playoffs for the basketball. You just had the Final Four and the Frozen Four, and the women's championship, which was unbelievable. And you've got hockey, the Stanley Cup playoffs, and the Calder Cup playoffs, and baseball. The umpires stink, and it's been fantastic.
Awesome stuff, Aaron. Great as always, bud. Hey, tell Wojo to get off his ass and pick up his phone. Let's make a date so we can maybe bring the show down there and put it in the arena. And you and I will do a lot of hockey talk that day. And we'll bring Harris Turr and the coach on, and our buddy Grossneck from down there, who's a Brookfield native. We got to get everybody on the program.
Yeah, Harris and the Admirals just celebrated the 19th anniversary of Harris purchasing the team, so it's a pretty special time. And Harris Turr has been a really special person in the city of Milwaukee, and especially in the hockey circles. And we're very appreciative that we work for that guy.
Let's do it. Let's get it together. Aaron, great to talk to you, pal. Thanks for turning on a dime, and we'll talk soon. Okay.
Thanks, Bill. Take care.
All right, buddy. Talk to you later. There you go. That's Aaron Sims, the play-by-play voice of your Milwaukee Admirals, and they're heading towards the Calder Cup. I got some feeling in my bones, man. I want to celebrate. I want to do the show down there to kick it off, and then I want them to bring the Calder Cup here to the studio. That's what I want. I want a Calder Cup here. Be great. I'll drink beer out of it. Be awesome. We'll all do a fun Friday where we'll all slam a beer together. We'll drink it right out of the Calder Cup. That'd be huge. Good stuff. And we'll do it with our friends from Point, whether it's Point Brewing, the Ambers, the Lagers, whether some of the summer stuff comes out with the hazy, the IPAs, and all that kind of good stuff that they have for the summer ales. However, I would do it with the Cider Boys. First press, right there in the cup, fill it up, do a little chugging with our friends from Stevens Point. Point Brewing excellence since 1857. Let's fill the Calder Cup with a little bit of Cider Boys. More of the Bill Michaels Show coming up next.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Beautify your entertainment space with Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Hi, this is Gina Della from Pella. Turn your ordinary space into something extraordinary with brand new Pella windows. The luxurious look, sleek design, and custom colors available is guaranteed to give your home the extra pop to entertain and keep you comfortable. At Pella, we see windows differently. We have the highest rated energy efficient products and a complete range of durable, functional, and high quality products that bring out the best of your home. Plus, getting the perfect windows and doors for your home has never been easier. Right now, get 0% interest for up to 36 months. Or no down payment, no interest, and no payments for up to 18 months if you book before April 30th. That's right, get 0% interest for up to 36 months, or no down payment, no interest, and no payments for up to 18 months. If you book before April 30th, take ownership of your living space and make it a place worth living with Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. Tell you what, this past weekend, I saw a post. Not only is our guy Dwayne from Dwayne's Cover It All one of the best, if not the best, when it comes to boat covers, bimini tops, upholstery, awnings out in front of your business, gym equipment, office furniture, home heirlooms, whatever it happens to be. Not only is he good at that, but apparently he was dropping some lyrics this weekend, had a microphone in front of him doing a little singing. I don't know where it was or who he was with, but I know he's done things at our Christmas party, where at the Christmas party, he'll do a little old style rock and roll where he's grabbed the mic and got out there and done it. But apparently he was doing some singing this past weekend as well. So our buddy Dwayne from Dwayne's Cover It All. So call him up and say, Dwayne, look, I've got whatever the project happens to be. It's got to be more than a couple grand though, because he's not going to sing for that. But say, hey, I got a boat cover I need to have redone. I'll bring it to you if you sing for me, and make him sing a lyric of something. That's not a bad way to go. You didn't know he could do that, did you? So we got multi-talented sponsors on this program. Come on, man. You can do that. Hell yeah. That's our buddy Dwayne, DUANES, Dwayne'sCoverItAll.com. That is Dwayne'sCoverItAll.com. 715-870-2119. 715-870-2119. And he is fantastic when it comes to the work that he does. And I probably should have given the phone number out first to say call him up. But again, 715-870-2119. 715-870-2119. Were you listening when he was doing a little bellowing at the Christmas party, Grant? This past year?
The thing is, Dwayne did a song and Clemens did a song, and I wasn't downstairs at the time, and both of them sounded so good that I didn't even notice in my brain that someone else had started singing.
Yeah.
It just sounded like another professional down there going to town. So no, I didn't notice. And I in a weird way, that's a compliment to Dwayne.
Right. Yeah. They both belted it out. Erin, our bartender, she sang, oh my God, she did a Mama Cass tune that was absolutely fantastic. So that was good stuff. So coming up in the next hour, we got Jim Ozarski. We're going to talk to him, and we're going to pick Jim's brain and just say, Jim, what the hell? What do you think? Is this team going to do anything in the postseason? Is there something that we're missing that maybe we should be paying attention to, that suddenly they're going to flip the switch and be better in the postseason? We'll talk to Jim Ozarski about that. Last hour of the program, we are going to talk to our guy, Mike Clemens. He's going to join me here in studio. And we're going to talk with him about this Packers team, the NFL draft, all that kind of good stuff as well. So a lot, 2 hours down. We still have 2 hours yet to go, which means don't go anywhere. We're not done. We're not stopping. We're going to try to figure out some things. Brewers baseball tonight. I can't wait. Brewers baseball tonight back down at American Family Field. Looking forward to that. But you got the Bucks now waiting till Sunday to see if they can maybe figure some things out. Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Show. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this.
This This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, Giannis Antetokounmpo's status for the first round of the playoffs is in doubt. That was the word from The Athletic today. Giannis dealing with a calf strain that caused him to miss the final 3 games of the regular season. Very well could keep him out when the Bucks face the Pacers in Game 1 of the series on Sunday at Fiserv Forum. Milwaukee and Indiana have faced off 5 times this year. Pacers won 4 of them. That included in the semifinals of the play-in tournament last December. But that lack of success isn't impacting Damian Lillard's thoughts on the matchup.
I feel good about it. I think the one thing about the playoffs, especially this season, everybody can beat everybody. That's really how I feel about it. Happy that we got home court, and it's a team that we're familiar with. We know that they like to play fast. They score a lot of points. There's only a few teams that score over 120. We one of them, and they one of them. We just got to know what their strengths are, which we know well, like I said, and we got to try to take as many of those things away and make it a tougher game for them.
Again, it'll be the Bucks and Pacers in Game 1 on Sunday in Milwaukee. Turn to the Brewers. They are back at home tonight after winning 4 times on their 6-game road trip. Tonight, they'll face the Padres at American Family Field. Joe Ross going to get the ball for the Crew. The Padres counter with Joe Musgrove. First pitch is set for 6:40.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
Farmers deal with a lot, including long days, stress, and fatigue. This is your reminder to take breaks, stretch, have a snack, and hydrate your body. Avoid farm accidents by keeping yourself healthy. Visit ruralmutual.com to learn how Rural Mutual supports Wisconsin farmers and prioritize safety on the farm.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
Well, the Packers offseason program getting underway today in Green Bay. Well, the NFL draft gets going a week from Thursday in Detroit. And over the weekend, the Badgers lost a quarterback to the transfer portal as Nick Evers announced his departure, mostly getting third-team reps in spring ball. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Heil. Print.
Welcome back. Hour number 3. We got 2 down, 2 to go. Coming up bottom of the hour, Jim Ozarski, Journal Sentinel, covering the Green Bay Packers. He's going to join us. We'll talk with him. Let's get the lowdown with Jimmy coming up here at the bottom. Give us his thoughts. And you got the Brewers coming back home. They're taking on the Padres coming up a little bit later on this evening. Looking forward to that. Little Brewers baseball. Tonight, it's kind of an interesting day. And I'll tell you why. Behind the scenes here, coming up here in just a minute or so. In the meantime, we're talking Bucks basketball. We're going to talk a little Packers today. Scheffler ends up winning the Masters. Tiger, that was painful. That was painful to watch. I don't know how else to put it. It just was. I don't want to declare. I said years ago when Tiger, even going back to when Tiger was coming out of that Thanksgiving night embarrassment where Elin went after the car with a golf club and him and the wreck of the Escalade into the fire hydrant. I said at that point in time, I said the emperor has no clothes. And that might have been the beginning of the end. And it turns out it wasn't the beginning of the end. It was the beginning of the end of the dominance. Because you looked behind the curtain and you found out the wizard was just a man, but, and I don't want to say I joyously predicted, but at that point in time, I said, look, he's not going to catch Jack when it comes to winning majors. It's just not going to happen. And that's the way Tiger had always measured himself, was by majors. Winning championships were merely tune-ups for majors. That's it. And he's not going to catch Jack. And for Tiger Woods, I think it's over. It's over. His concentration might want to be on Charlie. And Charlie being a golf prodigy and the chip off the old block, so to speak. Because it was painful to watch him not play golf, but as a human being, to watch him walk around up and down the hills and the terrain that is Augusta. And man, it was awe-inspiring to see him make the cut and to set the record. It was painful to watch him play. And Jamie says, I want to see him, one more really good game out of him. I hope we get that. Like, Jack Nicklaus, the last time he won the Masters, we saw that last hurrah. That last hurrah might have come in 2017, 2018. That might have been the last hurrah. That might have been it. And had it not been for the accident, the car accident coming out of the Genesis, we might have seen more of that. But I think that leg, that ankle is so shattered and being held together with duct tape and baling wire that I don't think we ever see Tiger be a dominant player ever again. I mean, now they're out. I mean, they had on day one, the average drive on the par fives was 341 yards. I can't even fathom that. I mean, I can hit a ball. I can hit a ball 270 to 290, somewhere in there, somewhat consistently, I can't imagine the capability on a consistent basis of hitting a ball 340 anymore. 341 average on the par fives. Tiger's not that anymore. Courses aren't being Tiger-proofed anymore. They're being Scheffler-proofed. And Scheffler is a guy that's driving the ball consistently on par fives, 340. Dustin Johnson is a crusher. DeChambeau, who used to be he's taken a little bit of clubhead speed off of his swing and trying to gain more accuracy, and it's somewhat paid off for him, but he's not even driving the ball consistently at 341 anymore. But there is something to the lore of Tiger that just makes the needle move. It just does. I think the world went from watching a phenom to some appreciating the downfall. And then we went back again to rooting for the heroics and the youth and exuberance we didn't want to see get old. And then there was some self-destructive behavior, and then obviously the car crash. And great that he made the cut. A lot of players didn't. Rick said, who was better, Jack or Tiger? Pete says that's wrong. No, it's not wrong, Pete. Did you look at his average? Go look at his average. He had 371 when he got the ball on the back hillside, and it rolled 52 yards. Know what you're talking about before you hit enter. Tiger was. As much as you can look at guys like Ben Hogan, you can also look at the difference in equipment. I don't think we can fail to make that notation because the equipment has just changed. They went from wood heads to, the composite metal heads to the aluminum and then to graphite and the different shafts. And I mean, just so many different things technology wise have gone into the game itself. But I just for what we saw out of the ability to do with the golf ball, Tiger was a tick better than Jack. And I think Jack admits that. Had it not been for the self-destructive, what happened to Tiger on the course had nothing to do with happened to Tiger off the course. It just changed his. It's kind of like the first time Mike Tyson got knocked out. We saw it, and you went, "Whoa, that's never happened before." Because Mike could always take punches. He was Iron Mike. Mike could always take punches. And then you went, no, he's not the same. He was never the same after that. He was never the same boxer. Same with Tiger. But I just enjoyed watching the Masters. I still enjoyed, and again, the whole thing with LIV and PGA. I know there's still some people that have drawn battle lines on both sides. But I enjoyed it over the weekend. That was fun to watch. But I think it's, as far as Tiger, his participation, we can hope, but we kind of know what the outcome is going to be. Maybe it's very running parallel right now to what we know about the Milwaukee Bucks. We can hope the Bucks are still good enough to be there, but we kind of, in our heart of hearts, know what the outcome is going to be. Tiger's kind of the same. But I wonder how good Tiger would be on the Champions Tour at this point. I wonder if he would even be competitive there because it's not necessarily about the ability to stand and play the game. It's about the fatigue of playing a tournament and walking a tournament. So I thought that was rather interesting this past weekend. 877-867-1670. In the meantime, you've got the Milwaukee Bucks, and we've been talking about them pretty much all day long, and a lot of different of opinions coming in. This one is from Tim. He said, "Is it just me, or do the Bucks remind me of Aaron Rodgers, the Aaron Rodgers-led Packers? Look at difference from last year with him gone. Seems like a similar situation. Giannis wants certain players, and the younger players sit. You are spot on." That's Tim in Chippewa Falls. And by the way, Tim, listening in Chippewa Falls, he's on the road in sunny Florida right now. He said dog sitting next to him for a couple of weeks, and sent me a picture. That's awesome. Beautiful picture. Sunshine, some good trees in the background. Not a bad way to go there, Tim. Not a bad way. I don't know if I would say it's the same, but it's similar. You can pretty much go along the parallels, yes. I think, though, Giannis is still not all about Giannis. There is a desire to win. Does Giannis have... I think it's different because the NBA is different. If you lose Giannis, unless you would move Giannis for multiple pieces and keep Damian Lillard and make it Damian Lillard and others, whatever pieces you may get, maybe it changes the dynamic of the team, and maybe they do win. Maybe they do win games. You can't say, because if you get rid of Giannis, you got to figure that Chris is going to want to either go or retire. Brooke is going to retire. And you're going to get rid of some of those contracts. You're still going to owe some money, but you're still going to get rid of some of those contracts. Does Damian Lillard want to stay? Just suddenly him be back in a similar situation that he was in Portland, where he's the man, but he doesn't have the extra piece or two around him. You know? So if you move Giannis for the same money and pieces, do things really change? I don't think so. Whereas in football, you move one player, you move your quarterback. If you got somebody waiting in the wings that's sustainable, you can still win games. You can still, look what happened. You can still have a viable chance at a postseason berth. If you move the Bucks, it's about championships now. Do you still have a legitimate shot at winning a championship? I don't think so. You know, where one player in the NBA can make the difference of putting you deep into the postseason, where just a quarterback, yeah, you can see it in the NFL, but the likelihood of you in the NFL being one player making that big of a difference versus one player in the NBA making that big of a difference, I don't think that's quite the same. I think Giannis to the Bucks carries as much, if not more weight than Rodgers did to the Packers. Just because teams have to figure out Giannis. And I don't, and Giannis plays both ends of the court, whereas Rodgers is only there on offense. All you got to do is figure out what to do against the Packers defense. And if they're not anywhere nearly as good, you make it a shootout and you win the game. We've seen it. But I understand the parallel. I understand what it is you're saying. Is the ego managing the team and not the team managing the ego? And that's an understandable parallel. 877-867-1670. Steve says, have a question for you regarding Tiger. With the aging Jack and Gary Player, if something happens to one of them, do they look to Tiger to hit the traditional first shot to open the Masters? I don't know who they go to. Correct me if I'm wrong, and I don't know this for certain, so I'm asking those out there. Don't you have to be retired from both tours to be considered a ceremonial first ball striker at the Masters? I could be wrong. But it was Jack and Arnold for a long time, and then Gary Player was woven into the mix. And now it's Jack and Gary Player. I don't know. That's a great question. It was so good. I'll tell you this. I said this on Thursday. It was so good to see Jack and Gary Player still hit it straight. They just go out, knock it down the middle. Here you go. No problem. Still hit it. 220 yards, 200 yards. I'm so envious. I'm so envious of the swing that doesn't leave them. It's amazing. But that's a great question. 877-867-1670. Hit us up, 877-867-1670. And if you want to give us a shout. But I think you're not playing anymore to be able to be a ceremonial first ball striker at the Masters. I think you have to be, we'll say, retired. And I think there's an age to it as well. I think it's 60 or 65, I think. Vijay Singh even participated in it at the age of 61. How about that? Vijay Singh was there at the age of 61, still making it around the course. Still didn't look bad either. Didn't play well, but didn't look bad either. So 877-867-1670. Hey, if you are going to be out and about getting your game on, Lux Golf Bays down in Franklin, Wisconsin, go to luxgolfbays.com, Luxe, luxgolfbays.com. That's luxgolfbays.com. And they've got great deals going on right now down there. If you want to bring a group, if you want to bring, say, a corporate outing, say some members of your sales staff, just kind of a team building thing, or you just want to go down there and get your swing on, whatever it happens to be. They have got food, they got beverages, they got an upstairs, downstairs bar. They've got private bathrooms, and they've got everything right there in front of you. Whether you're going to watch some sports on the TV, you want to sit on the couches for a little bit, maybe you want to analyze your swing, everything right there in the bays at Lux Golf Bays. Lux Golf Bays in Franklin, Wisconsin. Lux Golf Bays, Luxe, luxgolfbays.com. That is luxgolfbays.com. Bottom of the hour, Jim Ozarski is going to join us, so we're going to talk a lot of Milwaukee Bucks basketball. Don't go anywhere. More of the Bill Michaels Show is next.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Beautify your entertainment space with Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Hi, this is Gina Della from Pella. Turn your ordinary space into something extraordinary with brand new Pella windows. The luxurious look, sleek design, and custom colors available is guaranteed to give your home the extra pop to entertain and keep you comfortable. At Pella, we see windows differently. We have the highest rated energy efficient products and a complete range of durable, functional, and high quality products that bring out the best of your home. Plus, getting the perfect windows and doors for your home has never been easier. Right now, get 0% interest for up to 36 months. Or no down payment, no interest, and no payments for up to 18 months if you book before April 30th. That's right, get 0% interest for up to 36 months, or no down payment, no interest, and no payments for up to 18 months. If you book before April 30th, take ownership of your living space and make it a place worth living with Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. Good to have you. A lot of good stuff happening. I just got a note here. And what's really cool is coming up the weekend of August 16th. There is now, we're not going to be there on the 16th, unfortunately, at least not until later in the day. But on August 16th, we are going to be in La Crosse, and they have the Big River Rally. The Big River Rally, the motorcycle rally, coming up on August 16th. And it's going to be 16th and 17th. We are just flying back into town, and I didn't know this was on the docket, but I'm like, look, if I can be there, I'll be there. So we're going to be on vacation leading into that week, and we're coming back on, we're literally landing on Friday the 16th. So Friday the 16th, we get into town, land. I'm going to fly home, kind of pardon the pun, and I'm going to pack up the motorcycle, and then off to La Crosse we go. And we're going to be out there for the Big River Rally. I won't be there on the 16th to lead the ride. I'll be there on the 17th, though. And it rides through what they call God's country, right? They're going to have stunt shows, vendors, bike show, live music. And Friday night, they got Buck Cherry. But Saturday night, I just got done texting him. I didn't know this. But Jackal is going to be playing on stage out there at the Big River Rally on Saturday night, August 17th. So I was just texting back and forth with the lead singer, Jesse James Dupree from Jackal. And I said, hey, I just found out you guys are going to be there. He's like, this is great. You're going to be with us. So we're going to hang out with those guys, and we're going to do the ride. There's information and the tickets. Go to bigriverrally.com. That's bigriverrally.com. And we'll join you. Hopefully Krista makes it, because we got a lot going on that weekend, but I'll be there. So for sure, we're going to bring the motorcycle. We're going to have a great time, but get a chance to ride out there. Again, the Big River Rally, it's now, go to bigriverrally.com. That's bigriverrally.com. And it's August 16th and 17th at the Oktoberfest grounds in La Crosse, which we all know that's awesome. But it's the motorcycle rally, and they're going to ride, and we're going to have a ride on Friday. I'll be leading the ride on Saturday, and then Jackal Saturday night. So really, really looking forward to it. Should be a lot of fun. Coming up that weekend. So 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. And if you want to give us a shout, please feel free. Go ahead and do so. Again, 877-867-1670. Bottom of the hour coming up, we are going to be talking with our buddy Jim Ozarski. Jim is going to give us the lowdown and his thoughts on the Milwaukee Bucks. And we'll touch base with him and what he thinks this team is now that we're heading down the stretch, I guess might be the best way to put it. So looking forward to talking to Jim and picking his brain on this. Don't forget, about an hour from now, a little bit more than an hour from now, Mike Clemens going to join me here in studio. Going to talk some Packers, talk some NFL draft, and everything coming up with that. This is from Barb. Barb says, heading down to check out the Bucks playoff game on Sunday. Well, obviously food places to go are great. I mean, there's so many good places downtown Milwaukee, but if you want to take the shuttle over, head to Stenny's. I don't think Calderon Club is open on Sunday. I think they're closed on Sunday, but head to Stenny's, get some wings, enjoy some food, and then take the shuttle over, get dropped off right there in front of the Fiserv Forum, and hopefully you see a Bucks win. That'd be great. It says, what are your thoughts on the Bucks at least getting game one, feeling good, rested, and rejuvenated? I think it's going to depend a lot on Giannis. If Giannis plays, that's great. It doesn't sound awesome, to be honest with you, that Giannis is back and ready to go. We talked about this, though. We said, look, for the soulless injury, if it's not 100%, when you come back, don't come back. Don't come back. Because if you injure it again, you're down for a much longer period of time. So and then in essence, you're pretty much, your season's over. So if Giannis, I'd give Giannis, and you hate to say it, but I give him a couple of games, at least, till maybe the mid next week, because they said at least 2 weeks for an injury like that to heal, at least. So cross your fingers, say a prayer, a couple of novenas on Sunday that maybe the Bucks are able to kind of steal game one. Maybe that evens it up to where, maybe game two then becomes not as much of a necessary win. And then he doesn't maybe have to come back until, say, game three. But don't forget, the Bucks this season against the Indiana Pacers are 1-4. Not a great, and if you watch specifically, I go back to that mid-season tournament game, and then not long after that, when they faced the Pacers again, Pacers just ran them out of the gym. They just ran them, and by the fourth quarter, the Bucks had no gas in that tank, none. So, let's do this. We'll step away. We'll pick Jim Ozarski's brain when we come back after the bottom of the hour, because we'll see where Jim's head is in all of this. And I think he's going to give us a more insight perspective on the injury to Giannis, the workability with Dame and the rest, the role players, the bench players, what needs to happen. Maybe there's a different insight there that I'm completely missing. Stay with us. This portion of the program brought to you by our good friends over there at Quick Trip. Quick Trip, by the way, is just awesome. And we all know that, we all love Quick Trip. There's no doubt about that. But right now, they have got so many good things going on at Quick Trip. First of all, they do so many things right with fresh products, amazing customer service, you name it. But I have to say, they make the best chicken. We all know that, the best chicken. Right now, too, they have, first of all, the Chicken for Life sweepstakes. That's been fantastic. But I was down at Quick Trip yesterday. They have the chocolate, and they have the vanilla, and the big gallon tubs of ice cream. It's all, I don't want to say on sale, but it's kind of on sale. It's on special right now. And you could check out so many different things on the Quick Trip app, by the way, the Quick Trip app, which is great. I have that, used it. And you can also use the Quick Trip app right now if you would like to start stacking points to get yourself a free Brewers ticket. For every $200 you spend at Quick Trip with your Quick Rewards, you're going to earn a free ticket to a Brewers game of your choice. We all go to Quick Trip. You're going in for bread and milk and eggs and butter and chicken and everything else. You might as well start earning points towards a free Brewers ticket. Or you can take that free ticket and upgrade it to a better seat and pay the difference. It's that cool. Check it all out. Go to quicktrip.com, quicktrip.com/ballpark for all the details. QuickTrip.com/ballpark for all the details. And while you're waiting for all that quick rewards to start adding up, check out that Nature's Touch ice cream. 1 gallon pails right now, $4.99 for a gallon pail, limit 2. Vanilla, chocolate, both of them are fantastic, by the way. Both of them happening over there at Quick Trip. All right, stay tuned. Jim Ozarski joins us next, Talking Bucks, right after this.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Good to have you back. The Bill Michaels Show. Continuing on today, a lot of questions about this Bucks team heading into the postseason. Not the way they wanted it to end. Questions about Giannis and his health. And the team kind of went quietly into that good night against Orlando, and they end up going from a 2 seed to a 3 seed, and not great. And now we kind of sit back, wait, and wonder, and they're going to end up facing a team that has had their number. So to say the very least, that has been a team that has they're 1-4 against, to be perfectly honest with you. We bring him in now. It's our guy, Jim Ozarski, and to talk from the Journal-Sentinel about this Bucks team. Jimmy, so, well, you tell me. This obviously doesn't look like a good matchup for the Bucks in the postseason, does it?
Yeah, I mean, look, the East is a rough one. You know, obviously Boston is clearly the top seed and the favorite. And yeah, I mean, look, the Pacers 4-1 against the Bucks. I guess the one thing that the Bucks are going to hang their head on is the fact that those 5 games occurred in the Adrian Griffin era, right? The Bucks didn't lose much in that time. 4 of the 13 losses were against the Pacers. And you could argue, Bill, that, you know, that sample size of 5 games was a microcosm of the issues under Griffin, right? Defense, you know, scheming, et cetera, and why there's a coaching change. And I don't know if it's a referendum necessarily on the Rivers hire, but it's close to one, you know. So we'll have to see how Doc Rivers and, you know, his handful of new coaches and the leftover coaches who experience those Pacers games, you know, approach Tyrese Halliburton and that group. They haven't seen him since January. Both teams are different. But look, let's assume Giannis plays most of the series, Bill. The Bucks are still the better team. They have the better high-end talent. They are the higher seed. They have home court, you know. So, yeah, it's not easy. But, you know, all things being healthy, the Bucks should be moving on to the second round.
Should be, and which is, you know, that's a big should. It should be. Talk to me about the injury to Giannis.
So, yeah, this is going to be, you know, the talking point all week long, Bill. And look, it's a soft tissue injury combined with, you know, the human version of Wolverine, right? The guy who looked like he obliterated his knee and then 6 days later played game 1 of the NBA Finals, right? So the report, I'll just tell your listeners right now, the reporting on this throughout the week plus is going to be hedgy. Well, maybe this or maybe that. Nobody's sure. There's chances for this. Look, that's a serious injury. It's a painful injury. It likely doesn't have much to do with the Kevin Durant Achilles thing. I know people are really worried about that. That's a really, really rare outlier for calf issues leading to an Achilles issue. I'm not going to discount it. I'm sure it's part of the calculus, Bill. But I would think, look, game 1 on Sunday, less than 2 weeks out of that surgery or injury. That seems a little fast, Bill. First round, remember, this is going to drag out for what, 2.5 weeks?
Right.
I mean, game 2 is going to be 2 weeks past that injury. I'm looking at that, Bill. I'm looking at a game 2 option. You know, game 1, kind of do what you got to do. Dame and Chris kind of lead the charge and then see, if the big fella's in the spot to play. That's my opinion. I don't know. Sure, he could play game one, but it feels like a couple week injury, and that would put him around game two, in my opinion.
We were talking earlier about this whole Dame experience and why it has or hasn't worked. And I said, look, one of the things that I can think of that I know some behind the scenes stuff about is Dame wanted to come here. He wanted to win a championship. I don't know whether he thought they were going to roll the basketballs out and they win one or what, but sometimes if you're not fully invested in the city or the place that you play or maybe your environment, but you just know that you're going to be competitive when you're on the floor, but there's a different mentality from when you love where you're at, you love where you live, you love you're embracing the city, you love the people around you, and it just makes you feel good. So tell me, why has this Damian Lillard experience really not panned out the way we thought it would?
Yeah, I guess that question, Bill, we could answer fully if they don't win a championship. Because I think if they hoist the trophy, he has a big part of that. But to your point, right, the Bucks did not win 55 games. They did not steamroll the league, the Giannis and Dame thing. Look, I think there's a lot here. I mean, the head coaching decision, clearly they made a mistake. They tried to rectify it after 43 games. It's looked a little better with Giannis. Obviously, it's not all the way there. I think that's the number one thing, Bill. They just lost all of camp. They lost all that time, and I think it's all going to go back to that decision. And then the decision to bring in Doc Rivers and reboot that, if you will. I don't think now his off-court stuff, he's talked about it. He's going through a divorce. His kids are 2,000 miles away. That's a very real thing for him. That's he's working through that, Bill. And, unfortunately, he plays in front of 20,000 people on a nightly basis, millions more on television. You and I, most regular people who go through life stuff, you just sort of, trying to get through without that pressure. That public pressure, I should say. So I think it's all of that stuff, Bill. And we'll just see. Look, I asked him about this. I said, Dame, you're not that 82 doesn't matter, but you're here for this. And he kind of lit up a little bit in Orlando, Bill. Like he said he even was thinking about that on his way to the arena to play the Magic, was like, this is what I'm here for, this. And so he's ready. He's excited. So we'll see if that translates to a different level of play, a different looking Damian Lillard.
Now, we were at the beginning of the show, we were listening to some national stuff regarding the Bucks and regarding the role players, as if to say, look, you're seeing guys defensively just kind of stand flat-footed, looking at other guys. Where's your guy? I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to, or being very passive, saying, that's not my guy. I'm not going to do anything. You tell me the role players on this team, who is capable of helping this team win a championship? Or let's just say even getting through the Pacers, for God's sakes.
Yeah, so Bill, it's interesting. Doc obviously made the starting lineup change to put Pat Beverly in the lineup. Move Malik Beasley to the bench. I still think Beasley is going to help. They're going to need him to help them win a series. And I'm not saying he's going to average 20 points a game. Look, we think of Bryn Forbes in the first round against Miami, the championship year, Bill. Chris hit the game winner in game one, but famously Bryn Forbes outscored Jimmy Butler. And then we never heard from Bryn Forbes again. Right.
Right.
That's so when you mention role players, it's a great point. That's why they're there. Pat Connaughton had a great final. Right. And then, Jeff Teague helped the Bucks, get through Atlanta without Giannis for 2 games. Right. So I do think Beasley's going to have a role. And he's going to have to make some threes. He hasn't done it in like 2 months. But can it happen in a game or two? Yes. I think we know Bobby, right? We know Bobby's going to have to be big. We know Pat is going to have to provide something. So aside from the usual suspects, Bill, I think Bobby Portis, and I will say Pat Beverly. I think, Bill, we have talked all year long for years now, right? The PJ Tucker absence, the hole, the void there. Kevin Durant cooked PJ Tucker that series.
Right.
PJ Tucker didn't stop anybody, but PJ Tucker brought something else. He was allowed to foul KD 9 times and get called for 5. Right? So maybe there's a series, and I don't know what series that is. Maybe it's this one with Halliburton. Maybe it's the Eastern Conference Final. Pat Beverly's going to have to be that guy where maybe he gets away with 7 fouls, right? And he's the one sort of just being that character, that intensity. So I think Bees is going to have to make some shots. And I think Pat Bev is that sort of intangible kind of thing, but tangible in a way of maybe just making life really difficult for another team star guard.
Beverly made some comments, and I was listening to his comments over the weekend about, I got to inspire my team. I got to do that. And he kept talking about it being my team, my team, my team. Now, granted, I love team players, but you talk about a guy that wants to try to get guys, because he was talking about playing defense, trying to will guys to play defense, get my guys to play defense, get my team to play defense. And I was like, wow, you don't usually hear a role player suddenly, 1, call it my team, and 2, trying to say, I got to get guys around me inspired. I got to get these guys to play better. Were you surprised at those comments?
No, because the little bit I've gotten to know Pat Bev, I mean, that's him. And I think once he became a Milwaukee Buck, it was his team. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Again, we mentioned the PJ Tucker thing. PJ was only here for a couple weeks. Then he was hurt. Remember that, Bill? He only played like 10 games that season. But you would have thought PJ Tucker was a Milwaukee Buck for life. And Pat Bev, I think, brings that. And so don't misconstrue the my team as in not, above Giannis or Chris or Brooke, et cetera, et cetera. It's sort of, no, these are my colors. This is my squad, right? Let's do this thing. Now, in terms of, I think he's that engine to a degree to sort of just clap it up and yell it up behind some of these guys. And so, no, not surprised. And I do think that's part of that intangible. Look, they're going to hear him talk about it. The dog, all that stuff. I think he's that could play a big role in this playoff if they make a run.
What would give us hope that they could knock off this pesky team that scores so much when it comes to the Pacers? Because the Pacers, they're much like the Bucks. There's not a lot of defense. They get up and down the floor. They hit shots from everywhere.
Yeah, look, you're right. The Pacers do score. Bucks haven't scored a whole ton, under Doc Rivers. But if there's a cure for that, Bill, if there's a cure for Damian Lillard's ills, it could be the Pacers. The Pacers still don't stop anybody. I know they have Pascal Siakam, and, he's a very good defender, but the Pacers are still bad at defense. So, look, the Bucks, I think, Bill, this goes back to the start of our conversation. We saw what they didn't do under Adrian Griffin. We've seen them get a little better under Doc. It slipped of late, as you alluded to, defensively. Better transition defense. I mean, the Pacers just ran up and down. No one ever got back, right, Bill? Mm-hmm. So if the Bucks just don't do the one pass shot, no pass shot, long rebound, Obi Toppin catches it, fires it out to Halliburton, and it's Dunk City, or vice versa. The Bucks are going to be in okay shape, in my opinion, in slowing down the Pacers a little bit. They're not going to be able to run with them. It's more of, I think, if the Bucks just sort of control their offense, get better shots, they're a bigger team, even with Miles Turner and Siakam there. I think, especially if Giannis is healthy, they're a bigger team. Giannis is average, I think, 42 points a season against the Pacers. I think almost 40 against Indiana the last couple of years. Like, they don't have anything for him. So if he gets back and healthy, be it game 2 or 3, I mean, that's a huge problem for the Pacers. So, yeah, I think that's the key. It's just better offense leads to better defense, a set defense, less transition points for the Pacers.
We will definitely touch base with you. Anything breaks this week, we'll talk to you. If not, we'll touch base with you after game 1 next week, okay?
Yeah, sounds good, Bill. Talk to you.
Thanks, Jim. Talk to you later. Jim Owczarski giving us the lowdown. Go to Jim Owczarski, OWCZARSKI, covering the Bucks for the Journal-Sentinel. He's like, look, there's hope. So you say there's a chance. There's hope. But like he said, Giannis, probably a long shot to be playing for the first game or 2, at least, in this series. So cross your fingers that he heals up, and maybe this team finds some inspiration, finds some shots, finds some really good offense and a couple of defensive stops, and they ended up getting it going, because I don't know how else they're going to do it. I don't know what to say. But that being said, if you are going to be heading down, well, maybe you're going to go tonight to the ball game, go to the Brewers game, heading to the Bucks game this coming weekend, whatever it happens to be. Always great sporting events. Always the shuttles are running. Always great food. The Bloody Marys. That's Stenny's, second to National and Walker's Point in Milwaukee. The new one is about to open in Lake Country. They're going to be on Watertown Road in Pewaukee. Stenny's, you can't go wrong at either place. And the doors will be opening in Lake Country probably within a month, maybe. I'm hoping, knock on wood. But I'm really, really looking forward to that. But Stenny's still, they're right there. Walker's Point, no better place to go. Stop in, tell them we said hi. That's our friends at Stenny's. As they say, you should be here. More of the Bill Michaels Show coming up next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Beautify your entertainment space with Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Hi, this is Gina Della from Pella. Turn your ordinary space into something extraordinary with brand new Pella windows. The luxurious look, sleek design, and custom colors available is guaranteed to give your home the extra pop to entertain and keep you comfortable. At Pella, we see windows differently. We have the highest rated energy efficient products and a complete range of durable, functional, and high quality products that bring out the best of your home. Plus, getting the perfect windows and doors for your home has never been easier. Right now, get 0% interest for up to 36 months. Or no down payment, no interest, and no payments for up to 18 months if you book before April 30th. That's right, get 0% interest for up to 36 months, or no down payment, no interest, and no payments for up to 18 months. If you book before April 30th, take ownership of your living space and make it a place worth living with Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Hearts of fire, streets of stone, modern warriors, satellite horses of chrome, taste the wild.
Welcome back. Good to have you. Bill Michaels Show. Great stuff from Jim Ozarski. Appreciate him hanging out with us for a couple of minutes, giving us some insight as to what he thinks regarding the Bucks as they head down the stretch and find themselves facing the Pacers, a team that's kind of had their number in the postseason. So we'll talk more as the week kind of continues on about that, and then cross your fingers that the Bucks are able to, like I said, get a win in game one. I don't know. I mean, you're playing at home. You're going to have that little bit of energy. You're going to have some of the fans coming in with a lot of hope and a lot of wide eyes. So excited about that. So, who knows? Who knows? Maybe they do find a way to kind of a will and a way to be able to get themselves right. Maybe this week, maybe just to renew, older legs, just older legs. Maybe they just get a little bit of rejuvenation. Older legs, they get some freshness to them. I don't know. I mean, we'll just kind of go with it. Knock on wood, something goes well. And maybe Giannis continues to miraculously heal and he's able to come back in game two. In the meantime, you got the Brewers tonight. Ross is on the hill for the Crew. Musgrove's on the hill for San Diego. And Musgrove 1-2 with a 6.87 ERA. Ross has got one win under his belt to no losses thus far, and he's got a 1.80 ERA. The Brewers have been hitting the hell out of the baseball. I mean, just drilling it. First of all, by the way, the Brewers are tied atop the National League Central, which is nice. The Cardinals are now officially under 500. They lost 2 in a row over the weekend, which puts them at 7-9 on the season. The Cubs 9-6. They've won a couple. Cincinnati won 3 in a row over the weekend. So they have a nice little streak going right now. But the Brewers and the Pirates are on top, and the Pirates won yesterday. The Brewers lost yesterday. So Brewers 10-4, Pirates 11-5. They're tied for the top spot. The Brewers with the plus 31 in run differential. They lead the National League, plus 31. The Pirates plus 24. Cincinnati plus 22. That's number 1, number 2, and number 3 in the entire National League. Behind them would be the Diamondbacks at plus 21. Then you've got the Braves at plus 19. Followed then by you've got the Cubs at plus 13 and the Dodgers then at plus 12. But the Brewers plus 31 right now. The only team that's better than that, believe it or not, Kansas City at plus 37. Brewers number 2 in run differential right now in the entire in all of MLB, all of Major League Baseball. So we thought it might be a little bit of and again, it's way too early to tell. Hell, it's not even 15 games in. Way too early to tell. But it's just a hell of a start. It's a fun start right now for this team. Heck yeah. Coming up bottom of the next hour, we're going to talk some Packers football. We'll talk some Packers football. Mike Clemens is going to be joining us here in studio. We'll talk with Mike. But we'll get some thoughts on the Brewers, the weekend, the start. Excited? I know I am. Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Show. It's coming up right after this.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, Giannis Antetokounmpo's status for the first round of the playoffs is in doubt. That was the word from The Athletic today. Giannis dealing with a calf strain that caused him to miss the final 3 games of the regular season. Very well could keep him out when the Bucks face the Pacers in Game 1 of the series on Sunday at Fiserv Forum. Milwaukee and Indiana have faced off 5 times this year. Pacers won 4 of them. That included in the semifinals of the play-in tournament last December. But that lack of success isn't impacting Damian Lillard's thoughts on the matchup.
I feel good about it. I think the one thing about the playoffs, especially this season, everybody can beat everybody. You know, that's really how I feel about it. Happy that we got home court. And it's a team that we're familiar with. We know that they like to play fast. They score a lot of points. There's only a few teams that score over 120. We one of them, and they one of them. We just got to know what their strengths are, which we know well, like I said, and we got to try to take as many of those things away and make it a tougher game for them.
Again, it'll be the Bucks and Pacers in Game 1 on Sunday in Milwaukee. Turn to the Brewers. They are back at home tonight after winning 4 times on their 6-game road trip. Tonight, they'll face the Padres at American Family Field. Joe Ross going to get the ball for the Crew. The Padres counter with Joe Musgrove. First pitch is set for 6:40.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
When a company only does business in Wisconsin, that's Wisconsin Strong. Rural Mutual provides all lines of insurance, including commercial, farm, home, and auto. And your premiums stay right here to keep Wisconsin strong. Local agents, local underwriters, local claims adjusters.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
Well, the Packers offseason program getting underway today in Green Bay. Well, the NFL draft gets going a week from Thursday in Detroit. And over the weekend, the Badgers lost a quarterback to the transfer portal as Nick Evers announced his departure, mostly getting third-team reps in spring ball. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Heil, Print.
Welcome back, and I'm glad you're with us. The Bill Michaels Show. Enjoying the day today, and hopefully you are as well. Beautiful weather today. It looks like rain's going to move into the area tomorrow, and today begins the steady descent from the close to 80 degrees we had yesterday. 78 was on the motorcycle yesterday, cruising around the western countryside in Walworth County, we'll say. Walworth County and Washington County and Waukesha County, Jefferson County. So had a wonderful, wonderful day yesterday. But 78 degrees today, just about 70, and then tomorrow begins the descent. And by next weekend, it's going to be colder. It is going to be, well, back to being what the norm would be, which is maybe 52, 53, 54, something like that for a high. But we're going to get some rain and such. So anyway, we enjoyed it. It's April. Whenever you get a chance to head out and drive around on the motorcycle, cruise around, get some wind therapy or play some golf or maybe even get your boat in the water and it's sunny and you can enjoy it in the month of April in Wisconsin, you take that in a heartbeat. Hell yeah. Jamie says, cannot wait for draft day. Jamie, I know. Can't wait either. Brian says, on a positive note, the Packers draft is only 10 days away. Brewers are playing good baseball. Jamie also said it's going to be tough for her. Because Tyrese Halliburton graduated with the kids at Oshkosh North. Really good kid. Always root for him, at least a little. Brandon says the Bucks, they're one and done. And then over in the email inbox, Cassidy said, don't have a lot of hope for my Milwaukee Bucks, but I'll be there cheering them on come Sunday. Oh, well, you always got to be a fan. Nobody says don't be a fan. Hell yeah, be a fan. I just, we look at things in more of a realistic light, We just look at it that way. So, I don't know where else to go with that, but okay. The Celtics, the Knicks, the Bucks, the Cavaliers, the Magic, the Pacers, they all secured the 6 playoff spots in the East. Meanwhile, it was the Thunder, Timberwolves, Nuggets, Clippers, Mavericks, Suns. They're going to take part in the first round in the West. The East play-in tournament, 76ers taking on the Miami Heat, which I find that a fascinating matchup. I really do. The Bulls are going to take on the Hawks. The West is going to see the Lakers face the Pelicans, and then Sacramento is going to take on Golden State. 2 big-name teams in the West that are fighting just to get in the Lakers and the Kings, or the Lakers and the Warriors. We'll see if you're able to, if you're the Warriors, if you're able to keep Draymond Green in the game. If he's going to be able to stick around, doesn't do anything stupid, still plays hard. I mean, if you can, and Draymond Green keeps his head in the game, they could be a threat. Lakers, same way. Anthony Davis been a little bit nicked up, had the back spasms the other day. The Bucks are a huge question mark. I really do. I like if Philadelphia, if Joel Embiid is able to fend off the injuries. Boy, I tell you what, you talk about a guy that had a hell of a season last year. He's had the knee issue this year, missed a boatload of time. But when he's in and on, the 76ers are a dangerous team. But we also know this time of year, this is when some coaches shine. You got a guy like Eric Spoelstra, who is, in my opinion, a tremendous X's and O's coach, matchup coach. But then you get a guy like Jimmy Butler who just does not want to be denied, and you got to face that guy, So, you got the Heat and the Sixers. The Bulls and the Hawks kind of a yawner, because they're just fighting for anonymity. But I really believe Miami and the 76ers both, whoever wins that series still could do some damage in the postseason. I really do. Either team could get hot and challenge. I think those two teams could challenge anybody, but maybe Philadelphia.
Are we going to get to a point where more is expected in the postseason from Joel Embiid?
Yes.
Look, I don't mean to be what about the playoffs guy?
Right.
Because it's okay for players to play well in the regular season and win awards and put up points, but Giannis and other players kind of the same age and ballpark of Joel Embiid, a lot is expected of them in the postseason. If they come up short, that kind of colors the way we talk about them. And I just feel like for whatever reason, Joel Embiid has escaped a little bit of that criticism over the last few years. Maybe it's just because of Doc. Maybe Nick Nurse is the answer. I don't know.
And you just look at the series. You're right. Maybe Nick Nurse is able to get more out of them and out of him and out of that team. We all thought that Nick Nurse would be a good fit in Milwaukee. I personally now think maybe if you're going to keep Doc, and unless they just say, you know what, let's just do what's best for the team. And maybe Doc is not the answer coming into the postseason under 500 as the head coach. Maybe they do go in a different direction. Maybe if there's somebody else on the market that you think is really, really quality, or do you go after a guy like Terry Stotts? I loved what Terry did in Portland. He had enough talent to get there, just didn't have enough talent to take him over the top. But you look at the games with the gamesmanship coming into this series for the Bucks. I mean, that first game, the Bucks lost by a deuce to Indiana. And remember, that was a game in which Giannis dropped 54 against them. They ended up losing then in the in-season tournament. Just about, I think it was by 10 to the Pacers. And it was all about no rebounding that game. None. That was where we first looked at this and went, what the hell are you doing? They just, it looked bad. And then after the first couple of losses, the Bucks kind of turned things around and they put kind of a beat down on the Pacers. And then the Pacers in the last game, going back to, I take that back, the second to last game, they ended up, and that wasn't a back-to-back. I think it was a couple of days. Maybe it was a back-to-back, but the Pacers, they were down again, 15 points. They came rallying back. They got the win. The Pacers then continued to score just basically at will, and they beat the Bucks again, 142-130. So the Bucks had one game in which they got off to a fast start and they were able to put the hammer down. The rest of the games, when they had leads, they weren't able to hold them, and Indiana just ran them down. That was the last one. Middleton was playing with that wrist injury, but the Pacers scored 47 in the third quarter. Again, the third quarter just continues to do in the Bucks. They just don't play defense. And the Pacers, by the way, averaged 128.8 per game against the Bucks this year. That is, in my opinion, humbly zero defense.
To add something to that, and I don't think the Bucks are all of a sudden going to be a good perimeter defending team with Doc. You go back and watch those Pacers games because they were all with Adrian Griffin as the coach.
Yeah.
I have no clue what they were doing. They were bringing Beasley and Dame all the way out to the logo to try to cut off Halliburton. So I think Doc will give them a better chance and a better plan to beat Indiana than Adrian Griffin did. And all these games happened with Griffin. I still don't know if it'll be enough, though. That remains to be seen.
Yeah, and again, if we don't see Giannis playing in game one, then it's probably going to be Bobby Portis. And then you're going to, Doc Rivers is going to have to figure out what his rotation would be, and then certain matchups and such. And, Giannis, though, I mean, that hurts because Giannis has been a guy that has played really well against the Pacers. He's averaging 42, almost 42 and a half points a game against them. So for Giannis to be out, that's 42 and a half points a game that he has been able to put up against him. Then Damian Lillard has not played well against him. He's only averaging 20 points against him, but making just 26.4% of his three-pointers. He's 9 of 34 against the Pacers beyond the arc, because the Pacers don't play defense either. The Pacers run. That's what they do. So usually they're beyond the arc because they're just getting back on defense. So they play defense on the arc, but they don't do anything else. So the matchup in a lot of different ways, especially without Giannis, favors the Pacers. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. If you want to hit us up, feel free to go ahead and do so. Again, 877-867-1670. If you want to hit us up and you got something to say. I agree with many of you that it's without Giannis, there's not much hope. With Giannis, I'd say they've got a 50-50 shot. They got a 50-50 shot. Got a couple of emails, too, I wanted to get to. This one is from our buddy Mark, who says, hey, Unit, don't have a lot of faith in the Milwaukee Bucks, but I'm going to be cheering for them come Sunday anyway. But I'm feeling even more excited about our Milwaukee Brewers, especially what they did to Corbin Burns yesterday. This is the team that just keeps plugging away, and they were able to dent the manipulation of Corbin Burns, who was throwing extremely well up until this point. The breaking ball and off-speed stuff that he's been hurling has been even better than his Cy Young award-winning season, in my opinion, and the Brewers were able to get to him. What a positive to take out of yesterday's game. Got to back it up. I agree with you, but got to back it up. Got to back it up. Our buddy Steve says, for those of your listeners that think that you're too critical, I have to say this to them. You are realistic and see this team for what they are. They're old, lazy. They don't rebound. They don't play defense. Defense to this team is a four-letter word. Pacers take them out in 6. I received my R-Lads guide and started to study. I have my eyes on a few guys for the first 2 days of the NFL draft. The question is, will Goody pull the trigger on some trades? My guess is yes. I think the short list is precise, and he has a plan to execute it. Tough one for the crew yesterday with Weimer call-up. Does that raise your level of concern about Yelich's back? Have a great week. We didn't even talk too much about Christian Yelich's back. It does. It does, because they needed a body. They had to make a move. And what does make me feel better about Yelich's back is they didn't put him immediately on the IL. Because had it been severe enough to say, oh, it's really bad, and he's going to need some therapy to get back, they would have put him on the IL right away. And they didn't. Now they still can and make it retroactive. Maybe they're just in a wait and see mode to see what's going on. It just sucks because he was raking, man. He was just raking and seeing the ball and pulling the ball and just looking good doing it. And just for the timing of all of this to come out in this direction, it was, I hate to say it, and I almost said it the other day and I didn't. But it's not a matter of if. It was kind of a matter of when. And I guess the positive is, if, say, the back, and we're talking about a back now, but let's say, whatever it is, it was a tweak. It just kind of went on him, and they're able to manage it the rest of the year, right? And it doesn't bother them. Then you would rather it happen now than later. But anytime you're dealing with a back, you and I both know it's something that you're always working with, and it's always there. And now that's going to be in the back of his mind, at least for the first few games. If he's not raking right away, the back could be problematic. And the second thing would be, if he's not raking, is it because you're tentative, Oh, if I do this, it's going to lock up. If I do this, I could end up on the IL. You just hope that you're able to throw caution to the wind and it's not an issue. Because once you start having back issues, so tough. So tough. But I am really hoping Yelly doesn't have those continual back issues. I really am. 877-867-1670. If you want to give us a shout, please feel free. Go ahead and do so. Hey, I was checking out Sean and the gang over at Epoxy Flooring Done Right, and I saw some of their posts via social media. Man, they just did very similar to my floor in my gym, but they did it to a garage floor and painted the garage. Great job. Whether it's epoxy flooring, polyurea coating, they warranty it for life, and they are, as one of the people that bought one of their through our auction, bought the floor from them that they donated. They're now getting together, and he donated a floor for a charity winner, which is awesome. So Sean's doing a lot of good stuff. Epoxyflooringdoneright.com. That's epoxyflooringdoneright.com. Give Sean a call, 262-443-2852. He's in the state of Wisconsin, as opposed to coming from outside, say in over Minneapolis or down in South in Illinois. Epoxyflooringdoneright.com, 262-443-2852, 262-443-2852. Stay tuned. We got more coming up after this.
Ready? This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
She's in love.
how we're looking. Good to have you, the Bill Michaels Show. On this beautiful Monday. Baseball tonight down at American Family Field. Looking forward to that. And bottom of the hour, we should get Mike Clemens in studio. Mike just texted me. He's running a little bit late, so we'll talk to Mike coming up here, which is fine, but we're going to talk with Mike here. Some Packers football, bottom of the hour. And if you want to chime in, you can. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. If you want to hit us up, feel free. Go ahead and do so. This one is from, by the way, some words from Davante Adams. I don't know if that interests you or not, but Davante Adams, very emphatic, says that, look, if he wants to leave, he would leave, but that he is not interested in leaving the Raiders. Very emphatic in saying so. He said he shuts down all the trade talk. Said, if I wanted to be gone, I'd be gone by now. There's a lot of talk about the general manager, Tom Telesco, noted during the scouting combine that the organization did not plan to send Davante Adams anywhere. He said that, if we wanted to trade him, we'd be talking about it, but we're not. We don't plan on sending him anywhere. So Davante Adams yesterday, and talking to The Athletic, said, if I wanted to be gone, I'd be gone by now. This is where I want to be. Part of the reason that the Raiders elected to retain Antonio Pierce as the club's full-time head coach was because Davante Adams liked him so much. And once Josh McDaniels was fired after the 3-5 start, Pierce led the team to a 5-4 record over the last 9 games. Adams said it's already helped the morale of our team, talking about keeping Pierce. It's where we're all looking to be. He said to be able to continue with the same mindset that we had. He's our guy. We've got to get to work now. It's about what we do and how we go out there and how we do it. And Adams had a decent season. 1,144 yards last year, 8 touchdowns. He had 100 catches and 1,516 yards the year prior, with a leading 14 touchdowns in his first season with the Raiders. But he said, look, I don't want to go anywhere. I'm going to stay. I'm here. So stop worrying about it. And because people thought that maybe since they're in somewhat of a rebuild, that they may be thinking that he might want to go somewhere else and get another shot at a ring. And he said, no, this is it. This is where I want to be. Oh, by the way, the other big story today in the NFL, Aaron Rodgers reported today for the Jets minicamp and the OTAs. So there was some videos over the weekend of Aaron Rodgers running, and they said working out vigorously to the point of exhaustion, getting himself ready for the upcoming season with the Jets. But Rodgers reporting today for the OTAs, where Rodgers said, OTAs and getting to know my guys is extremely important. Saying it yet again. Well, I just bring that up because we all know, the last couple of years here, it was like, Cobby will coach him up. And then by the time they're up to my level, I'm ready to come in and take over. And we all know how that worked out. But suddenly it means more in New York, I guess. But so that's really kind of it. Not that we expected anything else, to be honest with you. I mean, I know I didn't. I didn't expect to suddenly see anything different out of Aaron Rodgers or, and to be honest with you, it doesn't matter that much. It's just the fact that everybody's reporting it today. That's the big NFL news. Davante Adams doesn't want to be traded, and Aaron Rodgers shows up at the camp. Justin Fields apparently looked pretty good, I guess. They showed him in some off-season videos working out. And apparently he quote, threaded the needle in an impressive offseason throwing video, which NBC Sports had originally. And it's okay. It's putting it right. He was throwing over a stationary soccer goal to a receiver behind the soccer goal. Just barely getting it over. And that's what they wanted him to do, was just get it over, just throw a BB to the hand of the receiver who had a hand up over a soccer goal. And by the way, he did it once. So I don't think a whole lot of Bears fans are putting their palm to forehead going, I can't believe we got rid of this guy. Oh, incredible. Did you see the video by any chance, Grant?
I didn't see the video. I'm looking it up right now, trying to find it.
Yeah. The NFL posted it too. So if you follow the NFL on Twitter or X, they had it. But yeah, Justin Fields threads the needle. And it's just a guy standing behind the goal, the soccer goal. He throws it over one time. And he's got, and let me say this, they're standing. There's a pass receiver and then a defender. And they're both standing like statues. The defender has his hand out like in front of the receiver. The receiver has his hand a little further out above the goalpost, and he throws it right over the goalpost, right over the soccer goal. And they're like, oh, he's threading the needle. It's like, come on.
I'm watching it right now. I guess that's impressive. Yeah, I guess that's
it's
horse crap. Do you think he'll start a game at some point for the Steelers this year?
At some point, I think he'll get an opportunity to.
Or the Steelers at least got to try him.
Or they'll use him in maybe even a Wildcat. I would. He's got enough athleticism. Put them both on the field. Put him in a Wildcat. And I mean, that would be a great use of Justin Fields. He can run the ball. He can throw the ball. Yeah, I wouldn't put it past the Steelers to do that. Once they got rid of Matt Canada, they kind of opened up the playbook a little bit last year. And it became a little more creative and more suited to the talent that they had on the field. The problem was they just kept getting, Kenny Pickett and company. Everybody was banged up. Somebody get another start, banged up. Another start, banged up. Another start, and then finally they got rid of Canada, and he wasn't doing them any favors. They get rid of him, and then finally the offense began to flow a little bit. But that's what I'd do with him. So yeah, I think he'll get a start. I think he's going to get some opportunities. I don't think you just put him on the bench and let him rot. I think at some point, although Russell Wilson has been surprisingly resilient in his career. I mean, I don't think other than when they sat him, I don't think he missed games in Denver, did he? Can you remember?
You mean from an injury standpoint, resilient?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. He's been surprised for his size. He's been surprisingly resilient throughout his career.
And for how much he ran early in Seattle, he just hasn't been running as much the last couple of years. So that probably helps too.
Yeah.
But you're right.
Yep. So I still think he's going to get Justin Fields is going to get some type of an opportunity to answer your question. 877-867-1670. Jason says Fields has a lot to play for, and Rodgers loves to sound important, but yeah, he's tired. LOL, he was in the darkness all last year. Yes, he was. He was in the headset and trying to rebuild the character of one Zach Wilson and trying to make him sound like he's somebody, and that failed. Don't forget, I mean, his guys did not play well. Cobb and Alan Lazar was a healthy scratch. Billy Turner, I mean, the guys that he wanted, that he brought in, Dalvin Cook, one of them, didn't do much there. They cut him loose. I mean, and you talk about a guy that Dalvin Cook was a tremendous running back. And when we talk about running backs over the age of 30 that start to decline, there's another guy. There's another example of a guy just falling off the table. If you just lose that step, maybe you're not utilized correctly. Okay, whatever. But if you just lose that step, suddenly you're done. You got to have that quick burst, which is probably more than likely the reason that the Packers decided, hey, Aaron's great in the locker room. He's a great guy to have. Always has been a success. But that Father Time, you can see the hands starting to grapple the ankles. And once you lose it, you lose it. No matter how much your mind tells you have it, you lose it. So that's probably one of the reasons that the Packers decided to kind of part ways with Aaron Jones. 877-867-1670. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break. If Mike's here, great. If not, we'll continue to kind of discuss. And then Mike will join us for probably the last segment of the show. But hang in there. Hang in there. We got a lot more of the Bill Michaels Show. It's coming up right after this. Don't go anywhere.
Ready? This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Test check 1, 2, 3.
You're okay?
Yeah, I'm all
Cool.
set.
Good to have you back. The Bill Michaels Show on a Monday. Beautiful Monday, weather-wise. Hell yeah. Love it. Always love when you have these beautiful days. You got baseball coming up tonight. Good stuff. This portion of the program brought to you by our friends at the Bay Motel in Green Bay. Quiet, cozy, comfortable, just a mile from Lambeau Field. Perfect for a family stay. And don't forget, to the Bay Family Restaurant featuring homestyle cooking 7 days a week. The Bay Motel on South Military Avenue in Green Bay. And you can call them for reservations. 920-494-3441, 920-494-3441, or go online at baymotelgreenbay.com. That's baymotelgreenbay.com. BayMotel.com. And whenever we do the Bay Motel, you always know that Mike Clemens is in the house. He's in studio here. How you doing, man?
Good. How was your you went on a motorcycle ride yesterday?
Yeah. I took the motorcycle out left the house about noon and came home about 7 last night.
Like in Waukesha County, or?
Well, we went Waukesha, Walworth, Jefferson, Washington County. So we did about 120 miles yesterday.
Nice.
You know, we went sat down and ate lunch, and then there was Dewstetters or something like that, way out in Walworth County. It's a barn, and they do craft brews and all that kind of stuff. And
new place you've been to?
I've never been there before. Yeah, but some friends of ours, Craig and Kelly, suggested it, so we went there and rode around and just enjoyed the sun. Got a little bit of sun, so I was good.
I saw a picture. It looked like kind of a big red barn or something.
Yeah, this is exactly it. Yeah,
cool.
So it was good. So, and you're fresh off of the tailgate tour.
Yes.
So, which was sounded like a blast. I got to tell you, I can't tell you how many people were listening to the program. That story about the kids that saw the green and gold truck and they were chasing it, and it turned out it was a waste management truck. It was, when you were telling the story, it's kind of like I laughed, and I'm like, oh, okay, I get it, you know. And then it's like it hit me hard in the car. I was like belly laughing. I was like cracking up, and I'm like, should I be laughing? It's, you know, but it was just, it's funny. It was just funny to see.
After this, I have pictures.
Yeah.
So,
I saw some of the pictures you posted on Facebook and on Instagram.
I have a picture of the waste management truck, and then the tailgate tour bus, and there's some similarities there actually.
That's great. That's great. That's awesome.
They were chasing a garbage truck like dogs chasing a car, man.
It was so for people to understand, the tailgate tour was going to pull into this storefront.
Yeah, and that's what's amazing about it. I mean, you would think, oh well, it's the Packers, right? They're going to show up to some country club and some theater.
Yeah.
No, they make surprise visits.
Yeah.
They have cased out these places. They have vetted these places.
Right.
They've looked at their programs. They've done months of research at it. And this was a little storefront next to the Dairy Queen.
Right.
Okay? Next to the old Pizza Hut in Beloit.
Yeah.
And a vacuum store across the way. And, you know, I used to buy guitar strings there because this was in Beloit. And that's where I went to high school.
Yeah.
And it had been abandoned for many years, but this, you know, nonprofit was there, and they've been there a couple of years. They got a little bit of funding. You know, they certainly need some help, and they're doing a great service. And then, you know, they got all of their clients, as they call them, you know, folks all excited that hey, we got to call the Packers are coming. They changed their marquee and all that. And I went to introduce myself, and they said, "Oh, you were the Packers?" No, just a reporter.
Yeah.
But I just want to let you know I'm going to be here. Okay?
Right.
And they should be coming. And I went across the street to my Mustang and started getting my equipment out. And all of a sudden I hear this commotion. I'm like, oh, dang, they're here already. Right?
Yeah.
I wasn't ready.
Right.
And I hear this, and they went right past them. And then there was the confusion, like, whoa, wait, they're passing us up. And they started chasing them down the street. And I look up. It was a waste management truck. And the director's like, no, chasing them down the street. No, come back. That's not the Packers. They're not here yet. We still got a couple more minutes.
Not the Packers.
Yeah.
I did like the comment one of our listeners said that anytime a garbage truck runs by, that's not the Packers, that's the Bears. Yeah. That's the Bears. Yeah. So
could have been.
It was the Bears. It wasn't the Packers. It was the Bears.
5 minutes later, though, the tailgate tour bus rolled up, you know, exactly on time.
Right.
Out comes up Mark Murphy and Kenny Clark.
Yeah.
Brian Balaga.
Yeah.
Hey, you know something? Balaga should be a coach.
You think?
He'd be awesome. It's funny. He was only like 20. You know, at one of the stops, Murphy reminded this crowd of about 400 that attended this fundraiser.
Yeah.
To this date, the youngest player to ever start in a Super Bowl, Brian Balaga.
Yeah.
Right tackle of the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, it's because Tauscher went down with a knee issue, and Balaga got to start. Yeah, the right tackle.
So, you know, Brian's from Northern Illinois, from Woodstock. Played at Iowa. Kirk Ferentz,
another big Iowa guy.
Yeah. And, you know, he wins that job as a rookie, gets in there and gets to play in a Super Bowl. But for most of those years, Bulaga was a guy who was, when he met with the media, he was very humble. He's very humble,
right?
And just I'll just talk to X's and O's and always learning and talking to the veterans, etc. Fast forward about 7-8 years later, and it's about 2019 or so, and we were talking to Rogers about, so what do you think about your offensive line this year? And he's going left to right from Bakhtiari or Sitton,
right?
Or, these other guys, and then he goes, but that Bulaga, he's kind of an instigator over there. Like, well, what does that mean?
Right.
So I started looking at Brian when he wasn't talking to the media in other moments, and it's like he's right. He'll go up to another guy and say, "You're not going to take that from him, are you?" right? Doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And even the other day when Mike Daniels got the microphone and he's doing bingo,
Yeah.
Bulaga's standing behind the seniors at the senior home,
right?
And he's doing this wrap it up cue. Come on, man, keep get the numbers going. You're taking too long. You're doing too much.
Well,
shtick.
as we know, Daniels loves to talk.
Well, he does.
He was never a guy that you thought I'll do a 2-minute interview with. It was always ask 2 questions. 10 minutes later, Mike will be done.
But Bulaga is so good at technique, and he's got good oral skills. And is that kind of a leader that way? I don't know if he needs to. These players say, "I know what it takes to be a coach.
Right.
It's 80 hours a week. I'm not interested in that,
Yeah.
And that might be it. But he's living in Sarasota, Florida, with some family. He's got an 8 and a 9-year-old boy and a girl.
Mhm.
So I think he's trying to really focus on this opportunity to raise his kids, and
right?
do family stuff. But I think he'd be a great offensive line coach, if not a consultant. He's getting into
Did
broadcasting a
he?
little bit too.
Yeah, I was going to say, did he ever intimate that he would be interested in being a line coach?
I didn't get to that point with him later on.
Right.
I didn't get to that point with him later on. And you know what? I was just, as I was driving in, I was thinking, man, I got like 5 or 6 players and Mark Murphy last week. And really, I'm kind of grateful for what I got.
Yeah.
Because you look at that agenda and it's like, it's like in 15-minute increments all day long.
Yeah.
It's like, bing, time's up. Okay, let's go to the next one. I mean, they're trying to reach and touch as many people. And so some of those interviews that I was able to do for the show last week was basically 6 or 7 of them are taking care of the rest of the crowd. And I got a guy to go around the corner with me and talk to me for about 5 or 6 minutes and
right.
all that. I think just in terms of football news, I think it was most impressive to talk to Kenny Clark. And I said, so 4-3?
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah, they're going to move me inside.
Right.
See, Kenny Clark now, here's another guy that started out at 21
Mhm.
out of UCLA. 4 or 5 years of playing nose, man, you get beat up.
Yeah.
That's where the twisted ankles come from and the knees and all that.
Right.
And he loved the last couple of years that he could use his speed and his upper body strength to usually line up a 5 or 6 technique outside that left tackle and help play a little bit of an edge, help maybe get in the backfield. Maybe they would have to double team him.
Yeah.
But that would take up things and open up areas for linebackers to come in.
Right.
To help out Quay Walker,
Yeah.
and Devondre Campbell, if wherever he was on the field the last
Right.
couple of years. And he's already resigned to the fact that, you know what, that probably means that Lucas Van Ness is going to put his hand in the dirt
Yeah.
outside there, right? And they move Kenny back over the guard.
So
or the
your
center.
your front 4, TJ Slayton, Kenny Clark,
Right. Those are your 2 dudes to deal with.
Devontae Wyatt,
If you're center guard, the center and guard.
and Van Ness.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have Preston and Zedari, or Preston and Rashawn Gary on the outside.
Probably standing up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, as a matter of fact, the Packers are in house today.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they do this IBA or something. I never remember what that initial is, but this is a week of let's check in. And for a lot of these guys, you're meeting your coach or actually sitting down with Jeff Hafley and his new staff, which 3/4 of that defensive staff is all new faces.
Right.
And then you're starting to gear up, say, okay, when you come back for OTAs in May and the mini camp in June, here's the next step. Here's some of the changes we've made in the playbook. Here's some thoughts we've had in the off season, working together as coaches, just getting the team together. But out now, you're kind of on the clock for the goals that you have to hit in terms of your training, what you're doing, with the weights, how you're coming along from injuries. A lot of these guys had, nip and tuck, a little bit of snip to fix something that was bothering them the last year or sometimes 2 years.
Right.
But they try and get over the hurdle, make sure that they can get a new contract. And so that starts today. That's just a couple of days. Usually the team has let us, otherwise I would be in Green Bay. Last couple of years, they changed from bringing 4 players out. Maybe they bring in Rodgers and a couple of guys like that.
Yeah.
They're going to wait until May, but we'll get to talk to actually open the doors and let us talk to players and coaches then.
Yeah. The big news in the NFL today was that Rodgers arrived because OTAs are important.
Oh, they
Just
are.
thought I'd tell you that. That was.
Well, that's different than what he told me a couple of years ago. And I said, well, if you got all these young receivers, wouldn't it help if you went to some OTAs and camp? And he said, no. He says, well, that's the 100 level classes. Okay. Like if we're in college.
I remember that.
Yeah. And he said, when I get here, it's the 200 level.
Yeah.
We talk about what actually happens on the field. And I can let Randall Cobb and those guys handle it.
Because if Cobby coaches them up, then they'll be ready for me.
Coach Cobby.
There you go. Let's do this. We're going to step out. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. We'll wrap it up and give you a little hint as to why you're here.
Okay.
So, it's just a different day today. It's a spotlight, I guess. So We'll talk about a little bit of that stuff when we come back. Stay tuned. We got more of the Bill Michaels Show coming up next.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Okay.
Beautify your entertainment space with Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Hi, this is Gina Della from Pella. Turn your ordinary space into something extraordinary with brand new Pella windows. The luxurious look, sleek design, and custom colors available is guaranteed to give your home the extra pop to entertain and keep you comfortable. At Pella, we see windows differently. We have the highest rated energy efficient products and a complete range of durable, functional, and high quality products that bring out the best of your home. Plus, getting the perfect windows and doors for your home has never been easier. Right now, get 0% interest for up to 36 months. Or no down payment, no interest, and no payments for up to 18 months if you book before April 30th. That's right, get 0% interest for up to 36 months, or no down payment, no interest, and no payments for up to 18 months. If you book before April 30th, take ownership of your living space and make it a place worth living with Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes.
Interesting.
I knew she was no good for him.
Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes.
I've already changed the shirt too. Just in case.
Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute.
We'll find out. Yeah, we'll find out.
I can talk about.
Yeah. We're going to have maybe 5 minutes, 6 minutes.
Bill Michaels will resume.
Everybody's listening. So. Behind the scenes stuff. Today is, I told him to come, but God, I'm so busy between this and the charity and the event and Fisher House and putting all the, finishing up all the business taxes and stuff today and sending that stuff. I was like, wow, busy. Welcome back to the program. Glad to have you. And thanks for taking a listen to us today. I'm Bill Michaels, Mike Clemens, along for the ride in studio today as well. Brewers tonight, and you got the Brew Crew down at American Family Field this evening, and we'll discuss, and then obviously a start to the play-in round in the NBA tomorrow, the women's WNBA draft coming up tonight. But more so, we are not that far away from the NFL draft. Mike is in studio today, and I'm just going to give this just a little bit away. But I got called by a company in New York, and they said, hey, we're filming a documentary. We're doing some stuff on Brett Favre, and we heard that you're a guy to go to. And so, and I said, look, I'd be honored. I mean, obviously, you and I are both going to be in the Ian O'Connor book that's getting ready to come out. And we're going to have Ian on the show when that book begins to launch, because that thing's coming up in August.
That's regarding Rodgers.
That's regarding Aaron Rodgers. And so they didn't send me questions. They didn't send me what they're looking for. They just said, we know that you know Brett and knew his dad, and we'd like to come and talk.
One of the best one-on-one interviews with Brett Favre is on YouTube, and that's from Thanksgiving about 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was the night that he was back to retire his number.
Yeah.
When Bart and Cherry Star came up in the little golf cart, and came out there at halftime. And it was that day earlier that we had done a fundraiser. You'd done a fundraiser. Was that for the boys, the Rawhide Boys?
The Rawhide Boys Ranch. Yeah, we did that
about
event.
1,500 people brought their families.
Sold
on
it out.
Thanksgiving at the convention center in downtown Green Bay. And then Brett came out, and he came with a whole family. And on Thanksgiving Day, while all these Packer fans and families are having Thanksgiving dinner downtown Green Bay, Bill talks to Brett for an hour, and with just great stories.
Yeah.
And him relaxed and everything like that. A lot of things have changed in Mississippi since then.
Right.
Unfortunately.
Right.
And, and that's such a sad thing for the franchise right now.
Right.
Because they want these guys to come back every year. Right now, I don't think you're going to see him coming back anytime soon. And who knows what's next with that?
I just saw him and Deanna are in Greece.
Are they?
Yeah, he took a picture and posted it. I think they're in Greece.
Yeah,
Greece or Italy, one of the two.
Yeah,
but I seen a picture of them like on a trip together. So
he's been doing some football analysis for Tyler Dunn.
Yeah,
on his podcast.
Right.
But he kind of got dropped from a lot of other opportunities too.
Yeah.
So who knows?
But so anyway, there was this documentary film crew, which, by the way, and I just, the doorbell rang. Kristen's downstairs, and she was off of her call, and she's getting it, and she said, you got to see this. And I said, what? I just figured it would be somebody with a camera and a car, and it's 4 or 5 cars, vans, SUVs, and they're unloading like, my neighbors must think we're shooting porn in here. Like, you're the stunt man. You just showed up today to just, Mike the Monkey or something, you're just like, there are TV cameras, there's tripods, there's sound equipment, there's lighting, it's all in the street out in front of my house right now. It's crazy.
My brother lives in LA.
Here we go.
You've met him, right?
Yeah.
He goes from Northwestern to the theater department, where David Schwimmer from Friends was one of his classmates, Stephen Colbert. He gets a job as a union guy and show up to do lighting, to do sets and all that. So the first gig he gets is here's your ticket. Go up to this studio up in Van Nuys. So he walks into the studio, into this kind of warehouse, and they're shooting
adult films.
They're shooting adult films.
Yeah.
And I said, well, how long did you do that job? He says, I gave my notice at the end of the day because when I had to move one of those couches off the set, I didn't want to be a part of that ever again.
Yes. So we all have our pasts.
Right. Yeah.
Hey, real quick, because we do got to talk a little Packers before we get out of here. But let me ask you, so what are the expectations? I mean, for we got the draft coming up. I think this year with so many young guys, I can see Goody maybe jumping up, packaging, because you don't need another 11 draft picks coming in and fighting for jobs. I mean, it's great for competition, but I think you want to fill some holes with talent. And I can see them maybe trading up once or twice in this draft.
I just watched tape last night that was on NFL Network of the Packers losing to Tommy DeVito.
Yeah.
And the Giants. And here, Jordan Love leads a game-winning drive, hits Malik Heath for a touchdown.
Yeah.
And they should win the game. And then you give the ball, back to the Giants. And here this rookie out of nowhere, quarterback drives his team. He hits a 30-yard pass that gets him into field goal range. And they beat the Packers on a field goal. And that's got to be one of those moments they said, they're just pounding on the table and saying, Joe Barry, what are you doing?
Right.
What are you doing? Where was the coverage on this?
Yeah.
And they've made that change. But I think I saw a lot of growth as a head coach from LaFleur. I saw a lot of growth from Adam Stenavich, the offensive coordinator. And that roster, it's kind of feeling like 2009.
Yeah.
A year before you went to the Super Bowl.
Right.
And I can only see more positive things from that scouting department as to what else they're going to add. And it's time to get sincerely, it's time to get excited. It really is.
I'm there. I'm kind of cautiously optimistic.
Yeah.
But I think that with the veterans you have and the growth of the first year guys, second year guys, you add a couple more pieces, get another weapon in there, and you solidify the defense. I knock on wood. I mean, you just got to bolster your offensive line, a few more guys in the trenches, and then fix that secondary, which is a tall task. Don't get me wrong. But God, you just hope that Lucas Van Ness takes that next step, that Rashawn Gary's now a year removed from the knee injury, and he takes that next step.
And they will.
Yeah.
They will.
Yeah. Mike, great stuff, buddy. Appreciate you stopping by.
Thank you, pal.
Look for us in an adult-themed store near you.
You have to change into some sort of jumpsuit or
right.
What's going on?
All right. That's going to do it for us. We appreciate it. And we'll be back at it again tomorrow until we talk again 20 hours from